Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central Time. It's June 19th, 2025. Let's go. It's People in the Boxes, episode 149 tonight. I think we may actually be able to get live on Facebook. I'll be working on that in the background here while we play this little intro here. Let me just real quickly try it out. Edit. No. Okay. Manage video. How about that? That's where I found it last time. And of course, they don't have the option now. Okay, well, let's go. Let's have this intro play. And if you could help us out, tag some friends and, go share it out to their DMs. And we'll be right back in about 4:20. Let's go.
Voices echo through the walls so thin, trapped in squares where the stories begin. Whispers rise from the shadows deep, secrets these boxes swear to keep. People in the boxes, souls on display, talking through the silence, night into day. Bound by lines, yet the truth breaks free. People in the boxes calling to me. Every cube holds a tale untold, hearts of fire, dreams so bold. Walls can't hold what the spirit sings, laughter and tears on fragile wings. People in the boxes, souls on display, talking through the silence, night into day. Bound by lines, yet the truth breaks free. People in the boxes calling to me. Are they cages or a stage to stand? A prison built by a human hand. Voices clash, then they blend as one. In the boxes, the journey's begun. People in the boxes, souls on display, talking through the silence, night into day. Bound by lines, yet the truth breaks free. People in the boxes calling to me. Through the static, I hear their sound, lost and seeking, yet profound. People in the boxes near and far, shining out like a guiding star. Voices echo through the walls so thin, trapped in squares where the stories begin. Whispers rise from the shadows deep, secrets these boxes swear to keep. People in the boxes, souls on display, talking through the silence, night into day. Bound by lines, yet the truth breaks free. People in the boxes calling to me. Every cube holds a tale untold, hearts of fire, dreams so bold. Walls can't hold what the spirit sings, laughter and tears on fragile wings. People in the boxes, souls on display, talking through the silence, night into day. Bound by lines, yet the truth breaks free. People in the boxes calling to me. Or a stage to stand, a prison built by a human hand. Voices clash, then they blend as one. In the boxes, the journey's begun. People in the boxes, souls on display, talking through the silence, night into day. Bound by lines, yet the truth breaks free. People in the boxes calling to me. Every cube holds a tale untold, hearts of fire, dare dream so bold. Walls can't hold what the spirit sings. Laughter and tears on fragile wings. Every cage is or a stage to stand. A prison built by a human hand.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to People in the Boxes, episode 149. And of course, it's Thursday, 19th, 2025. Let's go. Hit that like button and share it out with some friends. This is going to be a current events episode. We do it once a month. And of course, we've got Miss Kim with us. Hello, Kim. How are you? Trying to share it over here on, or not share it, but I don't know, make a post about it on Facebook to see if I can get some people over here. But yeah, let's go.
You know me, I've always got my finger in 10,000 pies, and usually they're pies that are burning the hell out of my fingers. So,
Hot pies.
Huh?
So you've had some hot pies going on.
Yep.
Hot, steamy pies. All right.
Hot, steamy pies.
Is there anything particular going on with the house? You're working on always going on something there. Is it the gazebo this week? What's going on with the house?
Nothing's really going on with the house this week. Hey, get off the. Nothing's really going on with the house this week because I'm taking. So I'm doing what they refer to as a boot camp. One of the things that's always bothered me, I'm a special education teacher. One of the things that's always bothered me is that no teachers are prepared to teach kids that are people that have dyslexia. It requires a specific kind of instruction, and you don't get that kind of education anywhere unless you seek it out. And dyslexia is a very, very common language disability. And, I've watched kids for 25 years. I've watched kids come in and out of my classroom that I couldn't help. It bothers me that people can't read. And, graduate a kid out of high school that's got a first, second, no more than third grade reading level. And it just bothers me because, what kind of life are they going to have when you can't read, So what kind of work life? It just closes a lot of doors. And so anyway, I'm doing a boot camp. It's a 10-day boot camp that will prepare me to the entry into furthering the education so that I can work with people that have dyslexia to teach them how to read. And it's hard. It's very time consuming. It's a lot of homework. It's cramming a lot of information in your brain every day. I'm terribly fatigued at the end of the day, and, just my brain is full. And it's hard. And there's some stuff that I'm doing, like I have a homework assignment and I did it. And she's like, you failed the assignment. She says, you don't have to turn it in until such and such a date. And she says, I would sit down and I would redo it, she said, because it's one of the criteria for passing this class. So I'm not a person that fails assignments. And for me to be that far off base to fail an assignment is pretty deflating. So if I'm failing something, it's hard. It's hard as fuck.
That sounds not easy for someone who's used to being on the other end of the passing out grades.
I don't mind getting a fair grade. I work hard on whatever assignment I'm given. I work hard. I'm a hard worker, and I'm very, I have a lot of grit. So, I'll go back and I'll keep doing until I get it. But it's just, it just tells you how hard this thing is for me to do that poorly on an assignment. So, because I'm a good student. I usually do really, really well with things. The only thing that I struggle with academically is math, higher level math. So
Um,
I'm not.
I always liked math, but I didn't get into things like trigonometry and you know that just gets insane. I did do man, what was it? Uh, Accounting. Oh, talk about an ocean of math. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's an exact. Uh, to me, accounting and writing code for like computer code, because I've done both of those, are along the same lines, and you have to be very detailed and exact. And I am not, like I was explaining before the show, I am not that person typically. Um, Numbers, and strings of code are not my thing. I could care a shit less. It is not that important. It's frustrating. So it's like, you've lost my attention because I don't give a shit about that. Doing this dyslexia training is just like that. It's very exact and precise, but I care about it. So it holds a different meaning for me.
Did you ever watch the movies like the Da Vinci Code and stuff like that? Do you
Mm-mm.
not like those movies where there's a puzzle? Well, although puzzles are a little different than math, but a lot of people who like math also like puzzles.
Yeah, I'm not much of a movie watcher. Like, I'll go through phases where I'll watch movies, but the last movie I sat down and watched was the one about the atomic bomb. What was that one called? Came out
Um,
a couple of
it's
years ago.
about the atomic bomb.
Yeah, the Manhattan
I
Project.
remember. Oh yeah, yeah. There was a movie about that.
Yeah. That was the last movie that I watched. I don't know. When I was younger, I used to sit and watch movies, but I just have so much to do, and I don't know. It's not very productive to me to sit down and watch a movie very often. Like, I like watching short things. Like, I'll sit and watch Yellowstone. I like that movie or that show. There's certain shows that I'll sit and watch, but I'm not predominantly, if the TV's on, I'm usually not sitting there watching it. I'm usually, it's on and I'm listening or, whatever.
Hey guys, I'm gonna put the link out in the chat for anybody to come up and hang out with us. We're just getting into the
I
show.
gotta
Of
let
course,
my
there's a
dog
lot of
in.
stuff. Yeah, sure. There's a lot of stuff going on. We're gonna get into some of that heavy things that are going on. There's war with Iran and Israel. We may possibly get sucked into it. There's also a lot of riots happening and quote protests. There's also the what was that other thing? Oh yeah, the spending bill, which is like just got everybody, they just go gridlock for months every year when this happens, and it's just like we're the ones that lose for it. So we're gonna look into that. We're gonna kind of just check out what we can find quickly. We don't necessarily need to do a deep dive, but hey, what's up, Elisa, and Chris, Ronald Blackwell? What's up, my guy? Anybody that wants to come up, feel free to come up. JB, I saw you pop in on the locals, and Trent. Trent Allgood, I saw you on locals. What's up, man? Remember, you get a chance to win the door prize from Rumble, Locals, and X if you hit the like button and comment in the comments. I do want to put this out on the screen just for fun. Maybe I'll shut it off later. But okay. So let me just answer someone's question that they asked earlier in the private chat when I was telling people we're live. We are live on Facebook in my profile, but for some reason it is locked to private. So when this show is over, I'll be able to unlock it to public, and so people on Facebook will be able to watch us later. They'll be able to watch the replay if they want. So we get the live view. I didn't set it up that way, but that's how it works at the moment until I can fix it. But that's better than not being there at all, I guess, and it's a lot better than me trying to upload the show all the time.
So one of the things that I do, because I just don't have enough to do, is I'm involved in animal rescue kinds of stuff in my community. Um, and I don't have time to foster. I don't have like a rescue group that I think a lot of people confuse rescuing an animal with what a rescue is. And rescues are typically like nonprofit organizations that they're structured and stuff. I don't do any of that stuff because I'm too busy. So I do things that I can do to help get animals, keep animals from being euthanized or whatever. And one of the things that I do is I monitor the pages of the rescue, and anything that enters the animal shelter or anything that they post out that's got a time limit, which means the animal is going to be euthanized, then I work really hard by getting the word out in my community and the surrounding communities, trying to get the dog in a rescue or a foster or adopted. Or if it's picked up by the AC, trying to get them reunited with their owner.
Hmm.
So
So, do you find it? I mean, does it just seem fulfilling? Like you're not obviously it's not like a paycheck. So, let's say hi to Jess. Hi, JB. How are you? You are muted.
Good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing all right. Just getting the things going here. I'm talking in the private chat to a friend of ours in Australia, trying to tell him how to find us because he would have found us on Facebook. But it's I've been I've been telling you guys for years now to pick 2 or 3 sites and find us. Find me at least. I mean, I don't know if you like me or not. That's up to you guys. But if you like me enough that you want to see the show, find me on at least 1 or 2 other platforms, because this stuff happens even on the other platforms. Like there's times where I can't go live there, so it's always something happening. Anyway, okay, King Neb just signed up. King Neb's trying to come up with us. He's working on it. Okay, good first step.
I'm going to share it in my group. So I don't know. If anybody's a member of the Legit Bean Review, I'm going to share the link in there.
Jess, how are you? How's work going with the plants? You just showed us some pretty plants yesterday on We Grow Wednesday. They were looking
Going really good. The ones that are real big are from 34 mongrels. I am so surprised at how big they are because I swear they're not even 4 weeks old.
Are they autos or photos?
They're photos.
Yeah, I don't think they do autos.
Yeah, they're all huge already, all swelled out and stinky. I even looked at them at the trichomes today and they were already milky. I couldn't believe it.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
Power.
Are they a fast? Do they do fast photos?
I guess. Yeah, they're getting faster. I can tell you that much. They're getting to where they're doing a lot of 8-week strains. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
might
think
be a
that's the
fast
thing.
photo.
People are getting. I mean, it's hard to say where it's going to be at in a few years. With how everything's going with just nutrients technology, all of the environmental. What do you call it? Controls and stuff like that. Everything just keeps making it better and better. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to help people at the same time here, but I also saw a lot of news, and I look at that on Wednesdays when it comes to grow and food and stuff like that, growing. But I tell you what, it connects big time to a lot of topics we're going to go over tonight, like the more global stuff. When we're talking about even before now, when we had Russia, war with Russia, there was issues with things like wheat because Russia is a really big exporter with wheat, and so you look at when we think of war or any sort of crazy military action that's happening far away, we don't think about our food sources and how the trade routes being disrupted and different issues with people who maybe we were allies with but now are no more talking going on there. Different stuff like that will cause issues with our food, and so I think it's more important than ever to think a little bit about where your food's coming from. Think a little bit about what you could do in times of like super uh, you know uh, I was going to say need, but that doesn't sound right. Like in times of need, in times of unease or division, strife, all these things that disasters happening, not just things that are war related, but natural disasters. Thinking about what you could grow if you had to is, I mean, I think there's never been a time to think about it a little bit more in my lifetime anyway. Uh, so I like to connect those topics because that's really why I'm doing this. This show is still for me connects back to that self-sustainability sort of mantra that I have, or the overarching goal, or my mission statement is that all these topics that we talk about are meant to bring us together, to be able to have conversations and work out communication with each other, because otherwise we're not feeding each other. We're not going to progress in some way. And as far as having abundance, once you have abundance, that's when you can, you have big leaps forward. Anyway, I'm rambling, but we're going to look into some things here. I'll tell you guys what's going on with me, I guess, this week. I had something earlier I was going to tell you guys, but I can't remember now. I had a lot of stuff going on in the yard that's just overgrowing, and of course I have my little Sprout here. He's been running me ragged. He found another way out of the backyard, so yeah. So now I have to do more repairs on that. Of course, it's been pouring rain here for some reason still. It's insane. They installed ITV3, I think it's called, fiber optics lines in my neighborhood, and really didn't ask anyone, and just dug up my yard. This big old, like, two different spots where this big old, just dig it up, and then they come back with like some straw to cover it up after they filled it in. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for having some fiber optics. Like, if I can pay to switch to that, you definitely better believe I will. Oh, hey, Mess and Bean are live. Let me pop in and we'll say hi. Oh, hey, everybody. Come and chat with us. Okay, I won't be able to hear what they say. Anyway, I think it's a little bit. It's probably been the scariest kind of close call that we've had with Iran in a while, and this seems like it's kind of sucking us in. But there's also some things like I have something from a few hours ago. Trump meets with Steve Bannon ahead of decision to delay Iran attack. So I guess they may be delaying the attack. Might have to pull that up here. I guess I transitioned right from anything having to do with me to back to politics, or I guess not politics, but global geopolitics. I'm trying to think of that. Oh yeah, I got some more praying mantis eggs. I found out that I was doing it wrong. I have these praying mantis eggs, and I thought they were supposed to hatch in like 2 weeks. Well, it says 2 weeks to 6 weeks. And so I ripped one of the eggs apart, thinking that it must be a dud, must be a dud. And I was looking in there for vacation. Oh, okay. Just to pick up days because into money problems. Oh, I hear that, Elisa. Andrew Cortez. Hey, what's up? Okay. Yeah, you're Leslie's friend. Appreciate you coming in over on the locals. Hell yeah. That's what's up. My AC went out in the house and my car needs some work. Ah, Elisa, I hear you. I don't know. Maybe we can put together some kind of waffle or something to help you out. I don't know. I don't really have the pull, and I never, I tried it before when I had more, and it's just so hard to try to raise money. But It's not doesn't mean that it's not worth a try, right? So what else was? Oh yeah, I got ladybugs and I got the praying mantises. I hope that they stick around for a minute this time.
Do you have
Did
them
you just
outside or inside?
inside?
Hmm.
This dude just ripped one, just
Oh,
like
nice.
total dog fart over here going on. What's going?
He's
Holy cow!
gassing you.
Yeah, big time. Just gassing the gas out of me.
Dog
All
farts
right.
are the worst.
All right. Well, anybody, Elisa, if you want to come up and vent, come up and let's hear about it. Let's talk about it. You're welcome up here. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what everybody's doing, them in their own lives this week, but we're going to look on the more grand scale as well. I'm sure there's something besides the doom and gloom going on we could maybe find. Maybe possibly. All right. If you're watching on X, come in, and if you want the link, you'll have to ask me for the link in the DMs, and I can get you put up on the screen. Come on up and join us. All right. So we'll just peruse real quick. Like, I really don't know a lot about what's going on, and actually, you know what? It might be best if we just talk about what we know first, and then we'll look up, some more solid information. Because that's kind of a cool game to where we can see what our perception of the issue is, and then go and see. I'm not saying that whatever I find first is fact, but and then go and see what they're saying out there about it. So what I'm hearing is that Israel is doing a preemptive attack on Iran, and not only that, but there's this issue with Iran possibly having the ability to create a nuclear weapon, and it's like that's something I've been hearing, like I said, my whole freaking life. So, what is it really? Is it that they can have that they have the technology level? Like, does bombing them stop that? Is it because one guy over there has the knowledge, and if they kill him, it's over, or they slow them down by destroying some of their production facilities? Now, here's something I saw was interesting. 3 cargo planes from China have flown into Iran, one each every day for the last 3 days, or at least for over a 3-day period. I don't know if it was a few days ago. But there's no other plane. You can see the maps of where all the planes are heading all over the EU and all over the place. And there's really everybody's veering clear of Iran because of these the tensions and the actual attacks happening. So you see this just 3 little Chinese, well, not little, but they're cargo planes that can haul quite a bit of solid, either solid fuel or components, or they're not really sure what it might be. Might be nothing, you never really know. But that's a pretty interesting factoid. Think China's going to jump in on the mess here, Kim?
I think it benefits China. So one of the overall goals uh, of those kind of governments, and I hesitate to just say communist, because it's not just communist, but totalitarian, communist, those kinds of governments along those lines, is to it is the antithesis of a democracy. So it's the polar opposite of a democracy. And so they're always going to be natural enemies, because just by virtue of the type of government that they are. And so it benefits China to have its fingers in all the pies it can when it comes to rabble rousing with a democracy.
Not only that, but their largest source of oil is Iran. Iran, I think their first or second biggest customer is China. I hear somebody else talking in the background. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I see you, Mikey, in the house. Kim, do you want to can we see you, or are you gonna be the
Sorry,
Wizard
I
of
leaned
Oz?
back. I've been sitting all day and oh my
I'm
god.
still at Wilson level. Okay, there we go.
Sorry. Yeah,
Hey
I'm just
Wilson,
kicking it here in my kitchen.
I don't
I was
understand the
trying to
reasoning you
get.
said. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to get into Rumble on Rumble, and I forgot to mute my mic before I
Oh,
did.
all good. Yeah, all good. Okay, now what he says. Okay, I'm talking to King Neb, trying to get him on. We got Big Mikey in the house. What's up, Mikey? Says, okay, now what? Let me give him the link again. This is cool. I hope that he can come up here. Always trying to get some new friends in here. Now remember, this will go to Facebook, but it won't be live. It's going to be right after this. I can switch it to public, which is such a stupid glitch happening right now. So I do really appreciate everybody that comes over here from Facebook and everyone that's already here from Rumble and that are our core audience from Rumble. Let me see if Neb. See if this does anything. Okay. So does anyone, Jess? Are you using a phone?
Yeah.
So what happens when you click the link? You had to click it from Locals or Rumble. Did it work?
I always have to click off of the link off of Locals because the other ones didn't work.
Huh. I sent it directly to him. I'll see if that works. See what Elisa says. Don't understand the reasoning. I'm still here. Andrew, we're talking current events tonight, and we want to hear from you, like what's happening in your life, anything big, anything crazy. But also we're looking at what's happening, in the world. There's a lot happening right now. It would be kind of crazy for us to ignore it. I think Iran is another beast. A lot of people think of Iran as like similar to Iraq or Kuwait or something. It is a totally different beast. Iran is a much bigger.
Bigger and more sophisticated.
Yeah, they have a lot more infrastructure going on there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's email it to me. It keeps coming up to Messenger. Download and emails. Huh. Okay, I will try to do that. Mess, what's up? And Bean, guys, see if Mess can get up here. Mess, I don't think you've been on, so I'm just gonna give you the chance to try anyway if you want to give it a shot.
I think Bean said he was going to grab by date before he tried to jump up.
Sure, we'll be on for a couple hours, so anybody can come up for a bit. You don't have to stay the whole time. Rumble won't let me make an account, Andrew. I don't know why, brother. I don't know why. Other people have had similar issues. Sometimes you have a timeout. You've used it. You tried too many times, and it makes you time out for a minute.
Clear your history on your browser.
I'll try all the little tricks. Try all the tricks. Why am I hearing a bunch of feedback? Okay, not hearing it now. All right, while we're waiting for King Neb to give this a try, actually, you know what? He sent me his email. I'll see if I can do this real quick. Kind of last minute, but hey, we'll do it live. Mikey, what's going on with you? Anything this week? You rolling some hay? Anything else? You're muted, my friend.
Yeah, that's about it. I think I have tomorrow off. I work about 2 hours this evening rolling some mud hay. But I think Saturday and Sunday, that's pretty much all I got to do is roll hay.
Mud hay, huh?
Yeah, well, it was raining at 6 o'clock this morning, and guys ready to get it rolled up. They paid us to roll it, so he said roll it. We rolled it.
I thought you couldn't.
Ain't supposed to.
Alfalfa hay?
No, it's just cattle hay, just old grass hay.
Oh,
okay. I guess they don't care what the horses have to eat, right?
No, we feed cattle, mostly down here
cattle.
Yeah, you don't want to feed horses.
Horses particular, yeah. Horse,
Yeah,
you
kill
gotta
Oh,
your
watch
okay.
horses.
All right. Back up. I just meant like any animal having to eat the muddy hay over,
Oh
nice,
yeah,
clean, fluffy hay.
yeah.
That's
Well, it
messed up.
molds. It molds.
yeah.
Oh,
It'll get rotten in the middle where it's wet.
oh.
Yeah,
But
it'll
the guy,
cause a horse to colic and die. You don't feed
Would
horses
be,
that.
and then you're paying somebody to get you to make you worthless hay bales.
unless
That's
he throws it through a dryer, it ain't gonna be. I mean, they'll still eat it. It just it's not the best. It just shit quality hay. I don't know why you
right.
want to roll it like that. Why not let it dry? But that was a low laying field, and it took a while. Like I said,
Well,
it was 2 foot ruts through it.
I tell you what, low quality is really bogus, and I tell you what's not low quality: 1775 coffee. If you go to 1775 coffee, you even get a discount. If you go to 1775coffee.com, you can use code STUDIO to get 15% off. And I tell you what, when you do that, go and check out their new deal, this whole starter pack for $170. Now you can get it for $99 if you go to their website and go to 1775coffee.com/studio. And that gets you to the starter kit. And the starter kit has not only all sorts of samples of their different coffees and different blends, mushroom blend even. It also has, a tumbler and a gold spoon clip and a frother, and it's all in there for one package for $99. And you also get to help support Rumble and all the free speech and the freedom that we have over here. As you see where I'm at, I'm being censored on Facebook, but not here, baby, not here, not now. And so if you go to Rumble and you want to help support them, check out 1775coffee.com. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. Cool. Well, we got that out of the way. It was funny. They gave me 3 different options. That was just the most highest paying one. Even though it's the ad I read every night, I'll take the one that gives me 72 cents. Yes, we made 72 cents. You know what, Kim? You get 20 cents. JB, you get 20 cents. Mikey, you get 20 cents. It's coming to you guys.
You just put that back into the show.
You know what? You're too kind, man.
You're too generous and
know how
offering
I-
it, but you just go ahead and you just keep on that. You got taxes too out of that. You just take mine, cover the taxes. How about that?
Oh man, you know what? One
I
day,
appreciate
one
the
day,
offer. You're too
the karma's
generous.
coming back to you, my friend. It will come back to you one day. Mess, you don't have to be on long. I just want to initiate you into the Rumble for a minute, just for you to like try it. I mean, you don't. We got one more spot open on screen. Bean's going to be eating for a minute. You don't have to either. I just mean being on for a short time isn't a reason not to. Okay, so all right, I don't want to bore us or anything, but there's some serious shit happening here. Trump's new 2-week timeline marks a significant departure from the previous timeline, which was anticipated by many pundits to just be a few days. Okay, so they've stretched it out. I mean, I think he does this almost with everything, like him or don't like him. It's pretty obvious that he does the big ask, the whole New Deal thing that he does, where he asks a whole, like he makes a harsh judgment, but then he pulls it back later because he's really just wanting to get you to that spot, just like he did with the tariffs, where he was at like 100% on China, and eventually now it's all the way down to 10% because he asks way more than he needs, and then than he wants, and then he whittles it back down. And that's kind of how he does. I don't know, for better or worse, that's what it feels like he's doing here with Iran. He's going red line, and then he's backing a little bit away. He's like, I don't know if it's going to make us look weak though. It might not. I don't know if Iran is itching to escalate this or not. It's anybody's game right now. Not that it's a game, but it's like anybody's guess, I guess, is a better way to put it.
The thing about it is that you don't have to just worry about Iran. I mean, you're over there in the Middle East,
right,
with all of those, I don't know, Muslim countries, for lack of a better word. Most of them all have very similar governments, and ways of functioning. So, but you're over there with all of those people, and they're all, you have to worry about the Muslim thing more than you have to worry about Iran, because you're going to get some of those people that are more extremists, and they're going to be like, who the fuck do you Christians and Jews think you are coming over here, fucking around with us? And they're
Oh
going
yeah,
to
if you
say jihad, and then we're going to be back in that whole shit show
right.
that we had with
Well, they use
Iraq.
terms like that,
in the first
jihad
place.
and infidel, and like those are not lightly used terms. Um,
No, they
you're gonna hear,
don't like us at all.
oh, King Neb made it up. All right, mess. We'll have to try again sometime, not during the middle of the show, man. If you ever want to, it's no big deal. If it's not working, there's probably some reason we could get around it. But we got King Neb in the back now. Here, I'll
You want me
even
to step down, brother? I'll step down and let
no.
King Ned step up.
No, he's up. Well, I mean, you can still be here, Mikey, but King Neb's on
Okay.
screen now. You're still here, but for some reason it
Is
only
there
shows
echo?
for. No, sound good to me.
All right.
Sound good
Thank
to
you.
me. We got Neb in the house. You know what? Oh, let's go back to this for a minute since you just came up. I like the bucket hat, the
Oh,
necklace.
thank you.
Just styling and profiling over here, huh?
My Crocs.
Kim told me she didn't like my hat. Otherwise, I was going to wear it.
You lie like a dirty rug. I did not tell you that.
My Crocs. Check my Crocs out. You see them?
Oh wow, Crocs! I thought that was something else. I didn't hear
You
that.
know what's funny is I say that you lie like a dirty rug. I'll tell kids that, and I got them all saying that. They love that saying.
My son has been nonstop repeating this scene in the movie Big Friendly Giants, where he just starts naming off the giants, and it's just like Bone Cruncher, Child Chewer, Gizzard Guzzler, or I mean, just like he just started doing it in the store, and I had to be like, stop it! Like I'm trying to think right now. I was trying to do something at the register. It's like, get out of my face!
Right.
I'm trying to do this right now, and just pushes the buttons. What's up, man? So Elisa says hi, King Neb. King Neb, thank you for trying, bro. Rumble has been good to me, and I appreciate anybody who's like making the trip, making the effort to figure
I
it
told
out.
you I would. I'm a man of my word. I told you I would, brother.
Well, I'm glad to see you back too. I know you said you had some mic problems. Hopefully, we can
Yeah,
get you
yeah.
back on your own thing. So
Yeah.
what's up with that? Like you've had that mic for a while, or is it something that's?
No, it's the XLR cable. That's all. It's just like
that's
it
right.
has a little
You said.
right, just XLR cable.
That's right. I
Nothing
forgot.
to you.
Well, technical problems I can tell you are like almost every time I go live, there's some kind of technical problem, man. It gets so
With me,
old. Right, like right now I'm using one computer where I used to have two, and it's upstairs. I have to like take it outside and blow it out and see if I can get it to work. But
like a cartridge.
well,
like a cartridge.
more or less, yeah. I got one of these. Somebody gave me a. It's not an air compressor. It blows air though for electronics, and it cleans out, like it's very like soft on electronics, because an air compressor has liquid air, has moisture in it. Compressed air has moisture, and then you end up, if you try blowing out your computer and shit, you might end up blowing moisture into it, and that's
Maybe actually blowing it out for sure.
yeah, blowing it out and wetting it down. Compulsive little guy, yeah, he is, Lisa. And then he starts laughing. He has one of those things where it's sort of backwards from what, like he exhibits the backwards emotion from what maybe he should. So when I'm angry or when someone gets hurt, he starts laughing. Like he doesn't, like he just
Hey, wait,
goes straight.
is it cool? Is it cool to talk?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
cool to talk?
I'll do a dab with you, man. I always wanted people in the boxes to be free for anyone to have a drink, have a toke, except for I don't want to see no needles up in here. But other than that, but other than that, we want people to be comfortable enough to come up and smoking and drinking. That's an adult thing to do. So it's adult conversation too, man. I mean, war is pretty serious, and there's a lot of people who want war on both Democrat and Republican side. And now we're starting to see some posturing going on from the Democrats trying to make it look like they are against war so that they can, take a few shots at Trump. He loses some points there. But really, there's a lot of people on both sides, both wings of this bird, that really love us to get into wars. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for people to be pulling us and dragging us in. And I hope that we don't. But it seems like we're due for one, though, too. You know what I mean? It seems like it's almost like
I need a vacation from this planet. Just a little vacation.
Yeah. It boils up, though, right, Neb? It boils up. And then eventually we have some kind of crazy shit happen, and it's almost every century.
Always something.
Every century around this time. Around this time, every century, isn't it? It's like, last time it was 2 world wars. This time, who knows what would happen?
Yeah, peace for nothing. I swear, man. It's always something.
There's also
the United States is beholden contractually. I don't know if it's by like a written contract kind of a thing, or if it's just like a more of a verbal understanding or understood kind of a contract. But when Israel was given their land back, around World War II after era, the United States is beholden. They were part of that brokering that deal that got Israel back to their homelands.
the liberal economic order.
So we are kind of beholden to
Only 5, Elisa. Someone's
helping Israel. And part of the reason for that is it's not just political, it's also religious, because Christianity, which the United States up until, I don't know, recent decades has always been considered a Christian nation. And Christianity and Judaism are very strongly tied because, Christianity comes out of the Jewish traditions.
Do you think there's any validity in all these conspiracy theories that like Israel actually runs America and like they're really in charge and like all these like people connect Jewish people to all these like points of power all over the it goes deep.
I believe Vatican's run it. I believe the Vatican's run it.
Oh yeah, Vatican's a weird place, man, for like a tiny country like that to have so much power. They say there's a bunch of conspiracy theories for that too. Like they think there's a bunch of gold under the Vatican, gold and kids. There's kids and gold everywhere underground, like
missing chapters and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what they like. I'm not seeing anything coming out of other countries right now as far as what they are posturing, but I'm sure the Vatican will take a point of it. I don't know. I don't know what they'll say because they've been kind of a lot different lately in the last 10 years or more. There's also a lot of internal domestic strife. You might call it protests, you might call it riots, but it's definitely the fact is it's both. And there's
the thing you have to remember about protests and riots is that we had a protest here. I think it was last weekend on Flag Day related to all of this stuff going on with immigration, and I live in a state that's very liberal. I live in a very, very liberal state. And so anyway, but the thing you have to remember is that these people that are coming in and doing the riots, by and large, are anarchists. They don't have an agenda on either side of the spectrum. They're not conservatives. They're not Democrats per se. There are people that are seeking to destabilize our government for some purpose.
Well, not just that, but you have the anarchists of people who literally just want to go out and burn shit and destroy things, and
for their own purpose. Though they have a purpose behind it, and not all of them have the same agenda.
Right, Mikey?
Well, you just don't put lipstick on a pig. You just call it what it is. It's damn shit stirs is all it is.
Yeah.
Because, mean, they give 2 craps either which way. They just want somebody bickering, somebody riding, somebody fighting. They just got to have it.
Well, I'll push back on you two on this a little bit, and there has been some reports and some information on a lot of these rioters being paid to do this.
I
So
agree.
there is some problems there. Now I'm gonna probably go out on a limb and say there's probably some that are not being paid that just fucking want to fuck shit up, and that's
Yeah.
for damn sure.
Have you noticed when we brought up the Medicaid situation? As soon as the Medicaid situation, the Medicare situation, talking about getting cut, this happens.
Well, not just that, but look at all the Epstein stuff and
Yep.
I think it was Epstein.
shit up. That's like,
I think it was Epstein.
yeah, I do too. I feel like it was Epstein.
Not him, but like this whole thing.
All the list of people, and because I
You know what's
promise
funny?
you, I promise you, there are
That's
some
just
What?
dirty fuckers in our government that were on that island doing those little girls.
Okay, but let's be
And
real
it
though.
stinks from the top of the government all the way down to.
Yeah, but all the way back thousands of years too. Like it's not a new thing.
We don't live 1,000
you know?
years ago. We live in a
No.
modern time when we have particular ideas and standards. Okay?
Not in other countries.
I feel both sides are coming from, but like it happened centuries ago, but it's still happening. In other words, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, kids are being missing, taking underneath tunnels, whatever it is. There's so many have people. I mean, like in biblical text, I mean, they had the Sodom and Gomorrah, so we can even take it back to that, you know. But it's still persistent to this day, but it's now becoming more noticeable. Because who's to say that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers don't even participate in stuff like that? You know,
Oh, yeah.
or the Skull
Anytime
and
you
Bones.
have money and power, anytime you have money and power, you have things that are available to you, and you're bored, and you've already done this and that, and oh, let me try this new thing. I mean, you are freaking submerged into all kinds of stuff because
There's widows out there.
you got money and you got power, and people are going to offer you whatever sacrificial lamb they've got.
Well,
Mhm.
children
Yeah,
are
I
the
would
most
fight.
children are the most vulnerable among us, right?
Yep.
But
Children,
here's the,
elderly, and animals are the most vulnerable of us.
okay, touche. But here is a disturbing fact: you will never eradicate pedophilia.
Oh no,
You won't.
you'll never eradicate women being raped.
I mean, all of it,
racism.
Women are just as
racism,
vulnerable.
yeah. There, or you could
Or
call it.
racism. Yeah,
or-
because you're always going to have people that that's predatory stuff. Those are predators. People that do
Low-hanging
that are
fruit.
predatory.
Yeah.
I mean, it was back in caveman days, you know. Look at tribes now that people are just now discovering that that's still how they live. Like back in them days, where that 12-year-old girl was legal for her to be married out.
Well, it's just like when I was getting my degree in government, which is essentially political science. When I was getting my bachelor's degree, I had to write a lot of papers. Okay, I had to do a lot of research, and I had to write a lot of papers. And at one point, I've always been fascinated by Hitler because the guy was just the things that he did were depraved. And, I'm a problem solver, so I'm always turning over in my mind, why would somebody do this? Why that? And so I did research on Hitler, and the dude. So one of the things I think he was Hungarian, or Austrian or Hungarian. I always get those mixed up.
Austrian.
And it was a common practice for what do you call it? What do you call it when
Child sacrifice,
parents sleep with their kids?
Oh, not sodomy, but
Taboo.
What's
Incest.
the term for it? Incest.
Incest, yeah.
Incest.
I got it. Oh, that's not.
Incest was a common practice in that area. And a lot of people don't realize this, but Hitler's dad and mom were related. I think I can't remember exactly now, but I think they're first cousins because I wrote that paper like 30 years ago. I want to say they were first cousins.
I believe that they were first cousins.
Not kissing cousins.
Yeah. And so, Hitler had a lot of weird ass idiosyncrasies about his personality. And I really, really felt like, one of my interests has always been in psychology. So I came at it, I came at writing the paper with a, quasi psychological perspective when I wrote it. And I really, really firmly believe that Hitler probably had a lot of some brain abnormalities, whatever you want to call them, some kind of
course. I mean, look
hardwiring
what
in his brain.
he was smart in a way, but then he was at the same time you could tell he had mental issues. I was like,
Yeah.
because so many people have some mental issues. You have to have no remorse, of anything, like no emotion connection to him.
Because we know that, one of the reasons why, here, I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but here in the United States, it's illegal to marry family members within certain generations.
Well, isn't that because of degeneration? Like it makes like retarded children eventually.
Yeah, well, not necessarily eventually. It can make them right away.
Okay, well,
because I had a good friend. Her sister married their first cousin, and how the hell they got away with that, I'll never know. But she married her first cousin, and they had 2 kids. And I know that I wasn't around them when the first kid was born because her son, my friend's son, and my son are all the same age. They're like days apart in age. They're all born mid-December of the same year. And so I didn't know them at that time, but I knew them. I knew her sister, and I was around her sister when they had the second child. Because the second child was born probably when the boys were about 10, 11, somewhere around in there. And I remember when she was pregnant, there was a big fear because one of the things that they do a lot of tests when you're they do a lot of genetic testing, I guess, when you're pregnant. When they did a lot of genetic testing on her when she was pregnant because she was married to her first cousin. And the genetic testing came back that he was probably going to be born with like Down syndrome or some kind of mental retardation. And lucked out that he wasn't because she was considering like she was weighing having an abortion or what she was going to do. And she just ultimately decided to go ahead and have the baby. And they lucked out as far as I know. I didn't keep track of them after a while because that sister was a bitch and I couldn't stand her. But I don't know how that boy turned out, but I know that during the pregnancy there was a lot of concerns. And yes, there's a lot of genetic stuff because you shouldn't be fucking your first cousin or your brother or sister and having children with them.
If that wasn't the case, though, do you think we'd be okay? It'd be all good. If it wasn't gonna degenerate the genetics, like if that wasn't, like I feel like that's the only reason that you can't fuck your family.
No,
I think that's disgusting, dude. I think it's psychologically, gross.
I'm not saying I want to. I'm saying that like, is that the only reason? Is it just because we think it's? Is it biblical? Is there something in the Bible? Maybe I wonder.
You don't know your fifth or sixth cousin, so who knows?
We're all related, right? We're all related.
You might run into something and it's like, oh snap, we haven't been on a date in all this time. This person is in the family tree. That person's connected with that person, so we're actually family. What are you gonna do with that?
You ever seen Joe Dirt, Neb?
Yeah.
Where she's like, well, we can still pretend that I'm your sister if you want. Like, she starts saying, I'm your sister. I'm your sister. Okay. Wow.
I know the Bible talks about like incest was a common thing back in those days.
Right.
And it was common. Like my family were English royals. My family were French and English royals. So those people were incestuous.
What animals do that to themselves? Gorillas, apes,
Dogs.
dogs.
Yeah,
Rabbit,
this dude's already tried mounting his own sister a few times.
rabbits will, cattle. Uh,
So it's like
horse-
they're not. It's just instinct, I guess, on their behalf. On most of those who are not taught these things, because animals are not taught, incest. They just
They do
go
things
for
like instinct.
it.
well,
That's when
that's
you get cats that have 30 toes.
that's where you get two-headed calves. When like pigs, you could do it so many times. Cattle, you wouldn't want to do it too many times.
Mhm.
Horses, like it's really frowned upon on horses. Rabbits, it happens all the time. They come out really messed up,
Yeah.
but it happens. You don't always catch it, but that's
Yeah,
the way it is.
they're programmed to procreate. So anything that's like a rodent,
Oh yeah.
rabbits are rodents, squirrels are rodents. So, they're programmed to procreate. And cats are programmed to procreate because they're the animals that prey on rodents. Dogs, I'm not so sure. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. But the Bible talks about incest in Leviticus, and it outlines specific prohibitions, including relationships between parents and children, siblings, and other close kin. And it's part of what they call the Mosaic Law. So,
Mosaic law.
it
Is
explicitly
that
forbids sexual relations among individuals who are considered close relatives, to include mother, father, siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles. Oh wow, this is interesting. Step parents and stepchildren.
somebody make a donkey noise or something?
Sorry. Hey, I'm gonna jump off real quick. That was my boss.
All right,
Hey,
man. Thanks,
thanks
Mikey.
for having me. Sorry, Miss Kim. I didn't mean that was a. We'll catch y'all later.
It lists here step parents, stepchildren, in-laws, and in-laws.
Well,
Wife.
step. Oh man, that's like the number one porn search for like the whole country. Step something. Well, okay, let's bring it back to. Go ahead, Neb.
No, she said Bible. There's the Torah, there's the Quran, there's all these things are man written.
Hmm.
They're man made. It's not like somebody went around God with a memo pad and asked, "What did you say? Repeat that again."
Right.
These
Are
are
you sure? Like this is the right wording here? Yeah.
Well, Moses kind of. That's how Moses got the word.
well, maybe Moses, but the Bible is still man written. Which I'm not saying there's no belief in that, because doing something religiously it's something you do every day. You wake up every day. That's religious. You know what I mean? When you have certain faith in certain things, I just
Right.
tend to believe that these books were man made, like man written. Not to say that I don't believe and I don't have faith in them or a higher power, but I just think a lot of these things that we like Bible to me stands for basic instructions before leaving Earth. It's the moral of the story is this, this, and this. Now I have some favorite characters in the biblical text, but remember I told you yesterday, religion and politics are two hard subjects to deal with.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
Yeah,
people are upset. Like a lot of people can't have discussions about them because they can't remain objective.
Well, I
Right.
mean, in that light, let's bring it back to current events,
war.
which is just as difficult and annoying and crazy to talk about. But I have a question for you all out there listening. First of all, let's see a hashtag PITB out there in the audience. Who's watching right now? Who's with us? But also, I am going to play some music, and I'm wondering. Not even hearing it right now. Let me turn it up real quick. Okay. Yeah. Do you guys hear it?
Yes, I heard it.
Yeah.
Okay, now the audience, have you guys need to tell us if there's an echo because I'm using two different monitors now. So I think I fixed it. I think we can play some tunes without an echo. I just need your all help. Elisa, come on up. It's a way of life. Agree. Take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, for sure. So JB, any thoughts on anything else going on recently? Maybe you've had some time to think about anything else. You saw anything crazy on your Facebook feed? Any stories out there? Well, I'm telling you, like sometimes you'll see that you'll start to see something on your feed, and then you'll see multiple posts about it. You're like, okay, well that must be a thing happening right now. You know what I mean? Like it turns into
I stopped doing that because you can't even see a reel without a woman showing her print. So it's like, Jesus, like relax off that for a minute. Like let me see something funny. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody's always in tights, showing areas that okay, all right.
trying to sell themselves on the internet. And now, I mean, I sell myself in a different way, trying to
If I was
sell
to do
my words. What's that? What's that?
So if men was to do, I don't know if men maybe do it. I don't know, but it's just
I
every
don't
time
see it. You never see any
Yeah, I
thirst
see-
posts from men. Although, well, you see some shirtless posts once in a while.
Right, but yeah, I don't see no type of post like that. No, but I'm just saying it's like you can't even look on your reel no more without seeing the print.
The old what do you call it? The angry dragon.
Yeah, the angry dragon, the knuckle.
Angry dragon. What's
Color,
that?
you know,
It's a nice ass shot, Kim. Look over the shoulder with you back with the claw. You give him a claw. You give him,
That's dumb.
maybe give him the duck lips.
That's dumb.
You're gonna see that on the feed.
The duck lip.
All right, so let's see what who's this Caroline Levitt has to say. I've not actually listened to her much, but this is just recent today about Iran.
Now, regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote,
You guys hear it okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote from the president for all of you today.
Wow, he needs 2 weeks. He also called for the evacuation of Iran, not of Iran, but of their whatever their capital city.
How many months?
Iran.
How many months are we in the
Yeah.
2020?
Yeah, it seems like
Crazy.
it seems like all these arrows are pointing towards fighting, no matter if it's inside, outside,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you could blame one side or the other, but really,
I blame all parties.
it feels like an inevitability of the human race every so many years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost
It
like right. And honestly, if you think about it, you think about all the laws that we have on the books that are just stupid and have nothing to do with anything right now. There's probably thousands of laws. And when you think about a country, like there's never going to be incentive for the lawmakers to spend time cleaning that up. No one's getting paid for that. It's like you going to work at the restaurant. They have a janitor, but you're the guy that's like you're the fry guy, and they ask you to go clean the bathroom. You're like, well, what about the janitor? You know what I mean? Like you're not being paid to do that, so you're not going to do that. Congress is not going to spend time taking all those stupid laws off the books. So my point is the one way that, and I'm not asking for war, but the one way that the reset button, the clean slate, wipe off the board and start it over is war. That's what happens to almost every country. So every so often, and like it's a way to flip the table.
I think I'm sorry to interject. I believe in that sense, then they're supposed to be playing chess, not checkers, and it seems like they're playing checkers, not chess. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like war should be inevitable. Sometimes you need war for peace. I get that. Sometimes you need war for peace, but it's like what happened to the pragmatism? What happened to like the strategic? Okay, well, look, if we do this, here's the consequences. It seems like we just not minding our business, getting to other people's affairs, not taking care of the home base, not taking care of what's going on around us, and spending more money on wars and everything else.
That's for
It's
sure.
a repeating cycle over and over again. It's the same thing.
They call it the military-industrial complex, where they topple leaders of countries and put our own leaders in, like our puppets in there. And we've
Right.
been doing it so many. We've done it probably dozens of times, and it's almost like we are playing God with the rest of the planet.
Right. It's
If
complex.
all the countries were actually people, it'd be like us manipulating. Now, there's arguments on both sides of that. Like, if we didn't do some of the stuff we did, China and our adversaries would maybe grow in strength and possibly be able to overtake us. Yada yada yada.
Right.
And now it depends on what kind of worldview you think is right. Maybe you like, communism, and that's kind of the thing you want to go for, then you're probably going to lean towards, North Korea, Iran, and China.
Balance is like
Yeah.
almost the life, bro. You have to have balance. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be. That's why I like moderates. Because it's like probably going to work towards working for us, not always pinning each other against something or arguing about this side. Get the job done. You're in there to take care of the United States, regardless of what side it is.
Yeah.
I just feel like they got it all backwards.
Oh yeah. Well,
I think that,
go ahead.
I agree with you on that point about, there's not enough moderates. There's not enough compromise. Our system was built on compromise.
Right.
It has to be built on compromise because our country's too diverse. There's too many people that don't think the same way as the other side does.
Absolutely.
And you can't have it one way or the other. And I feel like, I don't know, I've never done a formal study on it, but it's just one of the things that I've noticed, and I kind of feel like maybe this is what causes it. But I have a degree in political science.
Mhm.
So I've hung out around a lot of people that do elections and do the numbers and do the polls and the research and just all the stuff that goes behind. And I feel like a lot of that us versus them kind of a mentality came about like I don't know about in the 80s because I was a little kid I was a teenager back then and I wasn't really paying attention to a lot of deeper stuff. But I know for sure in the 90s there was very much that mentality. And
come on, that's classic tribal mentality. That's human, the human animal forever.
Yeah, but it's
Other.
political scientists behind all of that because I would sit there and I would watch these people that would put together campaigns, and they would use it's kind of like the same line along the same lines of advertisement, of really putting out these messages that they use to control people. And I feel like that's the biggest downfall of politics. And I feel like that's what's divided everybody because it became about this side winning and being in power or this side winning and being in power. And you can't have that. You have to have a mix. You have to have a compromise in order to represent everybody in the country.
I agree. Like, that's like relationships. You just can't go in there thinking it's all about you. You have to compromise, show compassion, communicate. You know what I'm saying? Like, care. It's like those are the pillars of relating to one another. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I don't think the cliche of common sense is not so common is making a lot more sense as old as I become. It's making a lot more sense. Common sense is not so common.
100%, because you go somewhere else, even in the same country, you go to a different region, the same things that are common courtesy there are different than what things are different. But I'll also give you this. Kim, to what you said, I think that's also the downfall of religion, is the control that they try to exert, and then all these stringent rules, and that's where you ended up with all these different sects of Christianity and so on and so forth. Everybody
That's
wants,
probably
okay, my sect, you're going to be able to drink caffeine. Okay, my sect, you're going to, not be able to eat pork, or, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many just different, like,
you can't fornicate or no laying down until you get married, type stuff.
right. You can only have sex in missionary position once you're married. God's position. It's
Hey,
God's position.
I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody was telling me a story about how the Jewish people are. Like they have to cover themselves in sheets and only the private areas. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm like, that's different.
Who knows? I mean, maybe they have to do soaking. You know what soaking is?
What's that?
I believe it's like the apostolic Christians, or maybe Jehovah Witness, or I don't know, Mormon. I can't remember what religion, but the kids will do this thing called soaking, which is like it bends the rules. They think it gets around the rules of intercourse, because what they do is they put it in, which I think already breaks that rule, but they put it in, and they have their buddy or somebody else jump around on the bed next to them.
Brother.
So to make them do it, like,
because that keeps it. Yeah, that means they're not doing it. It's just it's just happening.
Being done to them.
Oh, it's just happening.
I'm a victim.
Are you serious?
That's fuck.
Maybe that's
soaking.
What they have to do.
Look that up. Yeah. That's bananas.
I don't think there's anything good on that. Maybe probably not a good idea. Elisa, come on up. Elisa, come on up. We got a little bit left of the show. Honestly, guys, we still need to look up a few things. Like, for instance, the ICE conducted workplace raid at Stadium. So I'll say this: like, some of these ICE raids are sounding pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to maybe clear the air a little bit and maybe reset and maybe give people the option to go home nicely. Here, we'll give you a ride home. That's great, but they're also kind of going a little bit insane with these, like, raiding Home Depot and stuff. The whole idea was to go after the major criminals first, and this and that, and that was what was said. That's not what's happening, though.
No.
So I'll give you that. It's definitely a little bit.
And people were warned that wasn't what was going to happen. And if you listen in interviews that Trump did around before all of this happened related to this topic, he never fully said that he wasn't going to go after everybody. He said, we're going to go after criminals. And you have to remember that the way that they're terming criminals is everybody who's in this country illegally is a criminal.
Well, that's true. But I thought what I heard was like not just criminals, but like I forget what the term was, but
yeah, like the worst of the worst.
But maybe that was not his words, but maybe
those were not his words.
Yeah, so
and I don't think those were the words of anybody in his administration. I'd have to go back and listen to all these to determine that, but none of them articulated that. I listened to language very, very closely.
I think you're right.
That was never articulated. That's why people were saying, the other side of, the Trump regime were saying he's going to go after everybody. And that's exactly what he did. He got himself wiggle room, because if he had come out and said, we're going to round up everybody's a criminal, then he may not have.
Yeah, but that was what was implied before when he was running. So this is what I'll push back a little bit here. I think that anyone who is here illegally for the last 6 months, if that was me, I would have been making
plans to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, I would have been. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
get a
so
body.
if you think that you were gonna just be safe, like, but now he's also talking about coming up, and they're talk. I read a story yesterday from the Illinois Farm Bureau where they are talking to with officials about creating a pathway for at least work for migrants to work. Now, I think it's kind of the wording they use is silly because they act like the the only way they can get people to work for a good wage is to get them from another country, which we know this is not true. We know they're paying them lower wages than what we would consider living wage, which I hate that term, but we definitely know that they are getting they're using this low income or low wage employment to get cheaper goods or to make more money or whatever it is. And
I don't think it's that they're doing it to make more money. The cost, it's to keep the cost of food
you think it's just
affordable.
altruistic that they pay people an illegal amount of money under the table? That's just an out of altruism. Like, I don't think
What?
so.
What are you talking about?
You're
What
saying that they want to keep they want, just because they want us to have a cheaper food, they're doing it out of the kindness of their hearts, paying people that don't know any better less than what
do
the
you think the government doesn't have a vested interest in keeping food prices low?
what's that have to do with my question?
Oh boy.
So no, like, I'm not, like, that has nothing
Do
to do with,
you
like,
think
they
that
don't
the
care about price.
government is not knee deep in controlling food in keeping wages paid to farm workers or whatever? Do you think the government isn't involved in keeping those people those wages low?
What does that have to do with? So you're saying it's okay because the government's doing it for
I'm
us?
not saying anything. I'm just
I don't.
asking you a question.
It's silly because, for one, they're subsidizing crops that we don't need subsidized, in my opinion: wheat, corn, soybeans.
Did you know that they pay farmers not to grow crops?
That too. So, like, we can stack up things that we could say that they're
Yeah.
wasting money on in our food supply. So I don't believe them paying a migrant workforce illegally and like from the side, paying them, several dollars under the minimum wage is some kind of like plan for our like prosperity. I don't think that's right. Or something else. It's
Well,
profit,
let me just
greed.
say that if they paid
Profit and
a
greed are simple.
person a living wage,
Hey, Kayla.
like, I don't know, whatever, 15, 20, whatever the going rate is, if they paid them that, people would not be able to afford to eat.
We
And
would be
that's the
growing our own more.
reality. That is the reality of the situation. And it sucks.
So hold on, I have to push back here, Kim. I just listed a few things right off the top of my head that they could save money on by not spending by not subsidizing stuff that's not good for us anyway. Like, no one needs more wheat and corn. Like, we need more of everything else.
Weeds. Hold up, Willis. I'm messing with you.
Well, maybe we
Wheat,
don't
wheat.
need more wheat and corn, but those people that live in those states that produce that need money to survive. That's their
I
bread and
know, but
butter.
I don't like that argument either. We have to keep this industry
I
alive
don't
because
care
there's
that you
people
don't
that.
like it. I'm talking about
What
what the
happened to the
reality is, and that's what drives those
What happened to
policies.
the horse and buggy industry? What about the typewriter industry? We got to bring it back. We got to save it. It's out there. The typewriter people, we got to get them back. Like things happen where industries like change in major ways like that. You can't. I'm not going to say learn to code, but that was a whole issue where they said all the truckers are going to have to go become like programmers.
I don't think that you need to eat a typewriter to survive,
No.
but you sure need to eat corn or potatoes or strawberries or
Okay, you
whatever.
just listed
I'm
at
just
least two things
saying,
out of
I'm
three
just
that were not
saying,
subsidized. That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
Wait,
just
where the hell are
saying.
we going? Where are we going with this? With typewriters and corn and wheat and
the point
immigrants?
the point is the point is we I don't believe we need to subsidize any specific foods because that is offsetting what we buy, because that means we're going to buy it gets cheaper. It gets they're
But you
paid
need
to
a
grow it.
plentiful food supply, and that's the way that they keep the food supply plentiful.
Okay,
Because who
the free
knows if
market
you're
will
going to
work it
have a
out.
bad year where fucking locusts come and eat everything that you grew, or that a tornado isn't going to rip through all your cornfields and
I just say
devastate,
if
or
you, if
when bird flu is going to come along and it's going to kill all your chickens and your egg laying, and people are,
just get here legally. Just get here the right way. Do it the right way.
I agree with you. I think people need to
Just
come
do
here
it
the
the right
right
way.
way.
And there's
I'm not,
plenty of
I'm a
work.
conservative. People
So
need
we
to
can open
come
the
here the
farms.
right
They can open
way.
the
I mean,
farms.
I have
That
friends
would
from
be
the Philippines that immigrated here, and the Filipinos they're very, well, at least the Filipinos I knew, they're very kind, compassionate, culturally kind and compassionate people. But they're like, we paid thousands of dollars to leave our island to immigrate here, and these people are walking across the border, and
Yeah, yeah, that's a true story. I mean, people pay their dues. There's a lot of Italian families there's a lot of families
mhm.
their ancestors wasn't even, from the States, but they
But
paid their
the
dues.
thing is like, it's expensive as hell. Have you ever look at the costs associated with immigrating here? It's not cheap. It's thousands of dollars, thousands.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
if they cross that border, they can take some
And
money
I
and go
promise you that
get
if you are a person that can afford to pay $10,000, $20,000 to become a citizen or to legally immigrate here, you're not going to be the kind of person that's going to be coming over to pick cotton in a field or cucumbers
no.
or whatever
I
crop.
know,
Okay,
You know
okay.
what
I
I mean?
know plenty of people got married for their green card too, so it's like
People got
Look,
what?
married for their green card, fake marriages.
Oh, yeah.
married, right? Yeah. Look, I don't believe in the minimum wage. Honestly, I think our young people could be out working. I used to detassel. You know what? When they have these crazy minimum wages, they end up pricing out the people who are on the bottom rungs. It's economics 101. What they're doing is they are artificially cutting out the bottom labor force, which then ends up living at mom and dad's house till 30 or more, and you this having this whole like stretched out like childhood going on now for a lot of millennials and what generation Z now or whatever. Um, and I think there's a problem with that. I think if they were to allow farmers to pay whatever people will work for, they would get maybe they might end up with some kids helping them out at first, or they might end up with
I don't agree with
like
that system. People are greedy. It has to be regulated because
people are greedy. That's why they're paying migrants for a few dollars an hour. That's the problem. That's the greed.
As us Americans, as the cost of living goes up, so should the minimum wage. You know, it should
Yeah,
go up.
I don't.
Cost
I
of
just
living, cost of milk, all that, like five. How much? Remember, you used to pay like a 89 cent
what's the
for
point of
an
having
egg.
a cost of living raise if everything's going to go up?
it
Then
just
that
keeps
just
pushing
deflates
both.
The
the
thing,
Yeah.
wages.
at these states, like if you're in New York City, like I was in a one bedroom apartment for $1,500 a month. One
Yeah.
bedroom
Yeah.
apartment. You know what I mean? So it was like you have to make money out there, I guess, but also it's skills and qualifications too, what you put underneath your belt. But I feel that, I started working minimum wage when it was like $5.25 an hour. So like it's like 15, $16 an hour. It depends on what type of work you're doing and stuff like that. But I just feel that as the cost of living goes up, so should the minimum wage should go up. But they take years to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said though about the person who's able to work more, and there might be a place that could hire you for $4 an hour but can't hire you for $5 an hour, whatever the minimum, like there's a lot of situations where people who could work, but maybe they're not worth $8 an hour because that person is, maybe they're handicapped, or maybe they have some other issue, whatever it is, and they're willing to work for less pay because they may have had, whatever it is, disability,
Right.
and or they may be willing to work for that lower pay because they know they're going to be, but they're not allowed to legally. And so I get that we don't want to be exploited again. But I think with the internet, we can really put on blast a lot of companies that are just like all these Amazon workers who have talked about the shitty conditions there. They get paid okay, but I guess there's some really fucked up conditions at Amazon. But I want to lighten the mood here a little bit and transition to this crazy ass story that I just saw. Border Patrol shuts down 3,000-foot drug smuggling tunnel connecting U.S. Mexico. Holy
Is that the
cow!
one in El Paso?
We're gonna check it out. We're gonna see here.
They found
What
one
else
in
is new?
El Paso.
What else is new?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's like that's
Okay,
what I always
alright.
say, dude.
Okay.
You may build a damn wall, but they're gonna tunnel under. They're gonna come by sea. They're gonna come by air, or some other method. I mean, it's like you're not gonna.
Are coming up in here. This is a
People are
recycled.
creative in finding ways to get around shit.
Imagine America drug free. That'd be funny.
Right.
That's
Right?
hilarious.
Just weed only everywhere. So this is interesting. Today, Trump signs executive order extending TikTok ban deadline to September. So congrats to TikTokers. Congrats to all you TikTokers out there.
Lord have mercy. They're controlling what you watch now. They're telling you what to watch, what you can do, what you can't do. Wow. I need a vacation from this planet. I really do. I want to go to Mars for a little bit. Just get high with the aliens for a little bit. I guess they're a little bit more peaceful and smart too. I believe the aliens. I would rather go with the aliens. Abduct me quick, please.
Bro, there's probably some stories about aliens right now because we're being distracted, Like, Justice Thomas takes an aim at expert class in concurrent banning child sex changes. Okay, so child sex change stuff going to the Supreme Court.
Lord,
That's pretty big. Former Coast Guard Lieutenant Antifa member released from jail after threatening to kill Trump. Just release him. Yeah, he's probably fine.
Just release him, yeah. You sure you're not reading The Onion?
No, it's this is the Post-Millennial. They're pretty legit, in my opinion. You guys are all welcome. Anyone that comes on the show is welcome to sorry, you guys in the audience, send me a link. You think you have a crazy story that just like really that just like proves, all sorts of whatever information. Send it to me. Tell me about it. We'll pull it up. So Blue Sky bans JD Vance minutes after he joined the platform, which is a little bit
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky is liberals, Democrats, like sort of answer to Twitter when Elon bought it. They created their own thing, and it's kind of like, it's not really a thing, but it's just a little thing.
Yeah.
It's just a thing.
I've never heard
It's
of
a little
it.
thing. It's a little thing.
That shit.
I'm going to send this link to Gilo over on X, see if we can get him on. So, King Neb, anything else? Oh, he's hopping up. I was just going to ask you, like, anything else in your life going on right now, as far as like, we can get out of the world events right now.
No, I just know it was my mistake. My book didn't publish yet. I didn't fix the cover correctly. I tried to get too much, into the current events. I'm just mostly YouTubing and video gaming, and I'll see what's going on. I'll take a peek, and then I'll just smoke my weed, leave it alone, because there's nothing I can do about it at the moment but complain. So,
right.
I'll go vote different next time. Then punk. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well,
show up.
There's those other crazy things that you see come across your news feed and stuff like that. But like what's happening in your life, like anything major, you don't have to tell us like your personal details, but like you got a new job or anything like that. What's up?
I got offered a job, but no, I'm just I revamped my store. I put out some hats, as you can see, and just taking my business and everything around me a little bit more serious, like as far as content and stuff is concerned. And I want to have a podcast. You know how we do, Mr. Whalen.
That's what's up, man.
So I want to take it to the next level because I noticed like, it's nothing wrong with getting monetized. Why not,
Yeah, people, there's this like bad rap where, people will be like, "Oh, I'm not a sellout. I'm not going to monetize," because those are just like, you know what? This is the world now. The e-commerce, there's all
Right.
these jobs,
You're
and
selling your brand. What you're selling your brand.
this is
Like
your
what
online presence. Like people think
right.
they think too small and narrow when they're looking at you go on Facebook. Oh, you just a Facebook live streamer. Oh yeah, but I'm on 8 other apps and I'm also doing this and this in the background. I've also got this and investments here and I'm working on and so people don't think about your online presence as a whole. But I
Right.
will show you this. Let me show you this online presence. You guys feast your eyes on this.
It's good food. It's good stuff there.
Oh, it was so good too. It was super good.
And I was getting ready to get up to go get my brisket slider and my corn and my string
Oh,
beans.
okay.
I was just about to go get that.
Go for it.
Yes, sir.
I got another post I wanted to find from earlier this week. I usually try to share posts that I think are interesting to pull back up later. I'm seeing a lot of advertisement for this mineralization gum. I really want to order some. I saw another one today. And I was like, man, there's like different people now putting out this advertisement. Where am I at? Oh, I'm on the wrong one. That's why I'm not seeing anything. I'm on the wrong page. Okay. So, guys, if you are listening out there, I hope you will make sure that you hit that like button and comment. Go over to the locals and the X and get yourself on the board 3 times. We will be getting the wheel set up for the door prize here shortly. Let's see if I can find. Oh yeah, Kim. I also got a conversation starter as I am also not able to go live and all these things they take away from me like shadow glitches and no official no official problems with my account now, but I can't hit at followers unless I go to the computer. I can't go live from. I'm not live right now. I can't even change it to public. It's private. I'm live on my profile right now, right this minute, and I won't be able to change it to public until after the show, which is pretty
Somebody needs
crazy.
to somebody needs to develop like a Facebook kind of a thing for like stoners.
Yeah, they
Maybe.
have they it usually gets taken down. There was WeedTube, which is kind of like YouTube for stoners, but that got taken
Mm.
down. And yeah, a lot of them get nixed. But that's the problem. The problem is they end up being like full of other drugs and stuff. Look at these dogs here, little Chiweenies from the same person, my friend Doc, who I got Mr. Sprout from. Look at those. Look at those babies. I want to trade mine in. Mine's already getting bigger. I need a smaller one again. Trade him in. He's no longer a puppy. He's like 12 weeks old now. I want a younger one.
How cute.
Yeah. I know I had something else. Pizza. Oh yeah, some people are getting their wins from the Country Boy Weeds. Chris is going to slap all of my stickers all over. He said only high class glory holes. All right, Chris, let's go. Scroy got his win. What's this? TikTok Bobby Robertson. Okay. Join us. Yeah, thanks, Leslie. Okay, I thought I had another post that I wanted to show, but that was from last week. All right, we'll move on. See what else is going on. Democrat law. See, here you go. This is basically a little bit of what I was talking about, Kim. Democrat lawmakers support illegal immigration to prop up wealthy American lifestyle.
Oh,
These
they
are-
all do.
they-
I'm
they
just
qu-
Democrats. I get so sick and tired of seeing stuff like that. Like they did it with the
Well, this is-
Republicans too, and it's like they all fucking do it.
They've been coming out in the press to defend the illegal immigration, alleged right to remain in the U.S. Their reasons is that these illegal immigrants do work that
Well,
Americans
it's just
don't
like,
do
did
or
you
won't do.
hear about Trump is walking back his deportation of, I think, farm workers and hotel workers?
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah,
mention
they're
anybody
taking-
else, just those two groups. Well,
Yep.
farm workers, okay, that's a given, but hotel workers? What the fuck? That's because he's got how many hotels and it's directly impacting his shit. You know? So fuck them all. They're all fucking dirty. They all are self-interested. It's not about the American people. It's about their culminating their wealth and their power. All of them are doing it. And people are stupid if they think that Trump isn't just as much in the game for becoming richer than anybody else is.
I don't know. He kind of took a big hit in his pocket trying to be a politician.
No, he
Could've been-
didn't.
Could've stayed a
In what way
businessman
did he
making
take
money.
a big hit? He made a
do you
lot of
mean?
lucrative deals with all kinds of people while he was president last time. So what big hit did he take?
You got nothing to give to
You don't.
you got
you
nothing
don't-
to give to Stormy Daniels.
What?
He had what? Neb?
He had enough to give Stormy Daniels.
I think it was only 150K or something. It's not even that. That's a expensive fuck. Though,
Yeah.
for sure.
He got off cheap with her.
Well, yeah, but she signed an NDA.
All of his legal fees have been paid by somebody else.
That girl that what did she
Lick
like
in any of his
$50,000?
legal fees. But there was a court ruling, I think I read today, that found that taxpayers are not on the hook to pay for his legal fees anymore, or something like that.
Yeah.
But taxpayers
how-
and wealthy people have been paying his fucking legal fees.
You don't think he ever pays for anything?
I don't know. You know, I wouldn't go that far to say that he doesn't pay anything, but I know that his legal fees have not been paid by him. So I don't have any, oh, poor Trump, he's because I know better.
No, like there's a real thing out there where the only where you just hate the man so much, it's called derangement syndrome. Like you have no, you didn't hate him a couple years ago. You hated him after he started becoming political.
I hated him in 1987 when I sat there across the table eating, I think it was a late lunch with family members that are commensurate and elbow with Donald Trump and them sitting there talking about the kind of human he was. He's a
All the Democrats.
No, they're not Democrats. My fucking family are fucking Texans.
No,
dude.
the people that were around him at that time.
My
Yeah,
family are
he
fucking
was a Democrat.
Texas-born Republicans. Texans are some of the most fucking conservative motherfuckers on the planet.
Not anymore.
Oh yeah, they are.
It's purple down there now.
Yeah, no, it's not.
A lot of
Might be in some of the bigger cities
Californians.
like Dallas or Houston or whatever, but Texas is not a liberal state. You need to listen to the news. You need to listen to Governor Greg Abbott and all of those lawmakers that fucking, you don't know what you're talking about.
What?
I'm telling you, Texas is a conservative state.
Well, there's a lot of Californians moving there though, Kim.
True that, but yeah, well, Californians kill me because, like, I lived out there and they're all, yeah, we're Republican. And I'd sit there and I'd watch them and I'm like, what the hell is Republican about you? I don't know. Californians are weird. It's different, whole different ball of wax with them.
With the fucking,
Huh?
you got a little uptight over there. I heard in your voice. You, and then the last thing you said is with the fucking.
Look, you got to take note about any topics that get your blood boiling that quick. Like that is.
I cannot.
She's
Well,
tight.
don't sit there and say that,
That's the
I
problem.
will tell you exactly almost exactly when I started disliking Donald Trump. And it was in like
Okay, stand
88 or
corrected.
89.
Took it
I
back in
can tell
89.
you exactly when it was. It was sitting there listening to my family members talk about the kind of human he was. He's a
So
disgusting
you don't like him because of third-hand information.
You're goddamn right, because I believe
I
those
just like
people there
Trump.
tell me shit, you're damn straight. They don't have any fucking reason to lie. You're goddamn right. And you know what? All the people that have accused him and all the court stuff that he's been involved in and everything, it adds up. So you are
Did
not
you-
going to change my mind. I know too
Okay.
many things, and
Can
it's
I
not.
add?
going
Can I
to
give you
change.
some information? Did you hear about the judge, Letitia James, in New York, who has now she's on trial, or not trial, but she's being indicted, or I don't know what the term is, being charged with doing the actual thing that they were trying to say Trump was doing, which was she was lying about her property to make more money off of it. And this is the same judge that convicted, or that told all the jurors that they could pick whatever they want, and then it doesn't matter what they pick, it'll all count. And yeah, like that whole thing was messed up. If you can't admit to that, then I mean, I can understand all your criticisms, but we also have to see that we have to point out when the
But at the same time, look, at the same time, you can't say only the mob pleads the fifth. Only if you didn't do it, you wouldn't. If you're innocent, you don't have to plead the fifth, and then go plead the fifth 400 and something times.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When Trump got, these convictions or whatever it was, the court thing, he went to New York and pleaded the fifth 400 and something times. I went to Trump University. I will say that. Now, I'm thinking I went to business school. Let me go to Trump University. And by me sitting in not even a half a semester, I knew it was crap. I asked the job, I said, well, if I give you this piece of paper from when I graduate from here, is this credible? No, it's not.
Mm-mm.
But was it information that you were learning
It was the
anything?
same information I learned from Drake's Secretary of Business School about business. It was basically, and there's professors that sound like they didn't even know what they were talking about at times. I got my money back when he got sworn in.
Oh, there you go. You're made whole. Yeah, I mean, look, I get
I
it.
don't know.
Like you could stack up every bad thing Trump's ever done, and I could still point out some things that were falsified about him in the last 10 years, just purposely to make.
I'm not talking
that-
about in the last 10 years, dude. I'm talking like,
So deny it all you want, it's still true.
huh?
I just gave you every criticism you could ever take about him, and you're still angry at me. I'm just saying that it's true that it's true that they have falsified stuff about him using clips and using,
People, they falsify things about everybody, dude. Like,
Yeah.
So it's
Like
true.
Obama-
So agree.
Obama-
All right, moving on. So of course it's true. Like there's a long list of things that they have used in order to make people hate him in such a deranged way, where they get insanely upset instantly when you talk about Trump. That's a problem with the person that gets that upset. That's not a problem with the topic, whatever the topic is. You can talk about Hitler, you can talk about abortion, you can talk about whatever you want.
that's because the guy is disgusting. He is a disgusting disgusting.
There's a lot of disgusting people we
I
could
am
talk
not
about.
talking
You wouldn't
about
get
his
like that.
policies. I'm not talking about his
I didn't
politics.
say you were.
I'm talking about the man is a filthy, disgusting human.
I could point out
And
other
I do
ones that we
not
could
like
bring
him
up.
because he is a filthy, disgusting
I hear an
human.
advocate over there.
Okay, so Kim, you're not getting my point. My point is, if I bring up another disgusting human, you won't get upset like you do with Trump. That is a problem with the
No,
like
because
that.
I'm tired of people fucking trying to shove Trump down my throat or people calling me names like, because I don't
I'm not doing
support him
that.
or whatever.
I
No, but people
respect your.
do, and I'm sensitive to it. It's like,
I
motherfucker, you don't
understand
know
that.
shit about me.
I'll give you
I
that
am.
because I
I
see it.
come
I see
from
it
a
happen.
highly conservative family. Highly. You have no fucking clue how conservative my family is. I am.
But that's a
There
subjective
are
thing,
certain
though.
things that I am uber conservative about, and there are certain things that I'm moderately conservative about. There are certain things that fall on the more liberal spectrum,
I have
like civil rights and women's rights kinds of issues. I'm more on probably the liberal side. Okay,
Lisa.
but I am a fucking conservative. I
Yeah,
voted.
but
I have voted presidentially. I have voted a conservative ticket my entire life until fucking Trump. And the first
right.
time that he ran, I didn't vote for him and I didn't vote for Hillary. I threw my vote because I didn't think he was going to get in.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Well, we could go down that path all night long. I'm not trying to convince you of that he's a good
well,
person or anything
I'm
like that.
very, very sensitive
But
to it because people like,
all right,
I
I'm
don't know, I
trying to
guess
get.
I have PTSD from it because I don't like the man. He's disgusting.
I was just about to say that. You might PTSD.
It's called TDS.
Kim can't stand to get done.
It's a real thing.
How clear can I make
Okay.
it?
Okay. Well, how? Okay. Let me just point it to you this way. You've been being bombarded by propaganda that is negative towards him, which is they pointed this out. This is true. That he gets like 90% negative press, whereas no other president was getting that. Like, it's a literal mind game that doesn't matter how smart you are. Like, you're getting bombarded daily with all these. Not some may be true, a whole bunch of them are fake too. That are just nothing but like, you need to hate this person. This is hate. Like,
Dude, they did that with
It's
Obama.
disgusting.
Here's a good question. Here's a good question. Does Donald Trump have decorum? No, the fuck
Does
he
have
doesn't.
decorum?
Is that
Yeah.
how? Is that does that
No,
mean he shouldn't be?
doesn't.
So you got to be like articulate and stuff to.
You know
No, I
who he reminds me of?
Gentleman at some point. You know what I mean? I don't mean like be a
He does.
bastard and
He does that sometimes.
You
He's
know
got
who
the
he
dis-
reminds me of? He reminds me of a modern day Andrew. What's his name? Which Jackson was it? Was it Andrew Jackson?
I
The one
didn't like Bush, but you know he did that soft shoe shit. That they always crap. He was funny. He had some characteristics about it, you know. I don't like all presidents. I mean, but you know, pragmatism and poise and decorum is like something dear to, I think, in the line of being a decent president, at least.
Yeah, you have to have dignity, and he's just not a dignified person. He's very, I don't know, his language, he's filthy. He has a
We
filthy
got
mouth.
feedback somewhere, guys.
The way that he talks about
Hey Neb,
people.
can you just turn your audio down on the phone a little bit? It's probably just feeding
Okay.
back a little bit.
Maybe because I had it down like this, you didn't get it before. Let me see. Is that better?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Took it away.
Okay.
Thanks. All right, guys. I'm putting up everybody that has commented on the Rumble and the locals. I'm still hearing it. Could you? There you go. Yeah. And then if you come back, it should be okay for me. No, it's still. I still hear it. Maybe I'll just mute my screen audio. There, that should fix it. All right, back to the wheel. Mess, Big Mike.
I would disagree about the propaganda thing though, because there was a lot of propaganda that was thrown at Obama, and some of the things that were said, like, oh my God, I remember, because Facebook,
He's exotic. He's exotic.
well, all kinds of stuff, but like I just remember seeing a lot of stuff. Like I remember seeing where they showed pictures of like people hanging him, like lynching and
Oh
just
yeah,
all
yeah,
kinds
yeah.
of crazy, awful things.
But you're
You
gonna
know,
get that. You're gonna get that. That's a part of this crazy world. There's gonna be weirdos out there. There's gonna be extremists on all types of sides. You know what I mean? It's like a jungle out there. You know.
right? But
And
Waylon
and
was
no,
making the point about that. Trump has had more propaganda. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the comparison is.
There have
If
been
there's a
studies.
comparison,
I have to
but
find it, but
it
yeah.
was horrific. Some of the
listen,
stuff that
listen.
came out.
I go by facts. And I'm gonna say this: I didn't like Hillary Clinton, but I voted for Trump. You know, I didn't want to not vote. I should have voted somebody else. But I know libertarians is not gonna get in the picture. But but
Well,
then
and let me just point out, like and this is not a justification, but let me just try to paint the picture that people who wanted Trump the first time, even, because let me paint this picture. I didn't vote for him the first time, but I can see what it sort of came off the back of the Tea Party movement, where people were fed up about being persecuted. There was a lot of religious persecution. We know for a fact that the not FBI but the our IRS was making, or they just put out those papers where the IRS they proved the IRS was targeting Christians and during the Obama years, and there's a lot of other things going on at that time. There was a welling up of unrest and unease, and so by the time Trump came around, people were looking for a wrecking ball. I know this is a cliche; people talked about it before, but people were like, "Look, we just need somebody that can flip the damn table." And show them, that we mean business, because the nice guy routine that the Republicans were playing for years wasn't getting them anywhere, and it still isn't. Look at those rhinos that are still in the government. Oh, Mitch McConnell, like, okay, I got hold on now, Democrats, we'll just do hold on now. Like, no, like that's what is that getting us? That's just like that's nothing. They're playing a game back and forth. They play like the Harlem Globetrotters and the freaking uh,
yeah,
Washington.
see,
Yeah,
see,
bro. Like,
I voted Trump, but then at the same time, me being stupid, all his businesses was closing down. If you can't run a business, how you going to run America, man?
well, he's had a few bankruptcies, but he's actually had hundreds of businesses. I've seen that people have brought that up. Well, he's had bankruptcies. Yeah, okay. Sometimes that's a strategic move. I don't know enough about it to
That's
say
true.
anything more, but he's had a lot of businesses that have had success. Otherwise, he would be broke. Not saying he hasn't done shady shit, but that's also kind of like sometimes. Like I had a lawyer one time, who I always. This is exactly how I always said it. This is when I was in like my 20s. He was just shady enough to let me to get to work it out to where I could keep my license. I had like 3 or 4 tickets or something like that in a year, and they were going to take my license. Well, he works it out in the back room with the old, Your Honor, and the good people of the town of Pekin. We throw him a few extra $100 on the underneath the rug, and we just sweep it all into there. So I'm just saying, like, sometimes you need that person
That's correct. Yeah.
that knows a little bit about what's going on, and that's why they hate him so much, because he was in with the team, or not really necessarily in with the team, but he was part of the cool crowd before all this, and so they hate him even more. I was distrusting of him right off the bat. Like, what, he just jumps over to become Republican all out of nowhere? Like, well, hey, that's a Democrat, that's a Republican and Democrat, or no, it's a Democrat in Republican clothing, right? Like it's all a sham. It's controlled opposition and stuff like that. I thought that, and it's that, hell, who knows? It could still be the case just to control us. But so I always keep an open mind about it. You're never going to see me like, I didn't like Biden, but I didn't boil up every time I heard corn pop,
Neither did I. It's like, I think to me should be a cutoff. Like, you retire. If we got retired at 70, then your ass retire at 72. Get up on out of there. Get some young blood up in there. Get on up. Get on now.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. You see, our old people are the ones controlling our geopolitics and like they're. Can you imagine trying to keep up with trends for that long? Like I just can't imagine the people out there trying to I don't know, stay relevant when they're 80 something, just like Trump and Biden and all these people. Like they're somehow, I don't know, they have a lot of experience, but they also remember the rotary telephone. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, they just
know,
want.
I remember the rotary telephone. I'm not that damn old.
well, I
Hold up.
remember it too, but did you actually use it?
Watch your
Yes,
You
lip.
used it, Neb? You used it? Okay. Oh, wow. All
you
right, I
little
stand corrected. Fuck.
whippersnapper.
Yeah,
Oh, shit, I stand corrected. All right.
yeah. We had the long telephone cable one from one room to another. Yeah, I remember those times. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one for sure. We had the phone cable from, all the way across the house.
Switchboard operators.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I just got the folks off of X. Oh no, there's one more. Is that Chris? Yes, Chris is always it always makes me click a special button because it says it's probably spam, and it's always Chris every time. Chris, I know you're not spam, brother. Don't worry, I won't let them categorize you as spam. Yeah, there comes a point that you're too old. The stress level is too much for you. Yeah, the stress for sure. Whew. And like you got to have all these like interns and what do they call them? They're lackeys and shit. Their whole like there's like an army of like helpers. It's like because they're getting too old to move around or think. It's like why is it?
Yeah,
They all have all of that, dude.
You
That's
see
what I'm
Mitch McConnell,
saying.
A
like,
modern
Yeah.
president, even if he
McConnell
was younger,
retired yet?
Obama had it, and Obama was young. It doesn't have anything to do with age. It's just
Well, a lot of the
it's a
not just
fucking
presidents.
complicated life.
A lot of politicians have to do that.
I mean, is Mitch McConnell still in office?
Well, I think he is. Maybe I don't
I
know.
think I think he's retiring at the end of
He
his term.
needs to. He's falling asleep at the microphone.
Get out, Mitch. Get out. Mitch. All right. All right, guys, real quick though, before we spin this, let's check out a little bit about Rumble Premium. Oh no. See, it won't let me. It says that I can do it, but it won't let me because it's the same offer basically. So I think what happens is they offer me 3 things and I picked one of them and now it's not actually letting me pick another one. Oh, there it goes. Well, hey, there we are. Rumble Premium. Rumble started in 2013, believe it or not. And they built a platform for a small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought the platforms would censor political conversations or censor opinions on COVID, but they did. Facebook admitted they fell into the pressure from the Biden and Harris administration. Rumble did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They're attacked in corporate media. They're attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers. They don't get much of it. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight and you have the means, and one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes the First Amendment and believes in the human rights of freedom of speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with the promo code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we are just as happy if you watch us on Rumble. Let's go. All right, cool. I didn't know it was going to let me do that.
$100,
33 cents.
33 cents, really?
Yeah,
A day?
we were. Wait, what was it? What? Oh, the Rumble's Premium. I paid $10 a month. $10 a month.
Oh, okay.
You can pay higher, I think, for different things, but you can get the like badge and you can watch all this premium content from different creators, including myself and all these other bigger creators.
Okay, cool in the game.
Yeah, no.
You'll be premium team soon.
Yeah, I made 33 cents off of that ad read. That's what I was saying.
Ah, okay.
We made a whole
Advertise.
$1. We made $1 this whole show. You know what? $1.05 even. So You get a quarter. You get a quarter. You get a quarter. Oh, Kim. Oh, she just gotcha.
It booped me.
Got booped. Well, it's probably gonna boop me soon too. So let's get this wheel spinning. Hey guys, if you could, anybody that's watching that has Facebook. Oh,
Uh-oh. He got booped too. He boopy doop.
I booped. I booped it. I booped it.
He's a booper.
All right. Now I'm part of the club. Booped it. So okay, anybody that does have Facebook, this live stream will be available public after the show when I switch it, which is really ridiculous. But if you happen to see it pop up, just engage with it. Maybe bring up something that you liked about the show or disliked about the show. I keep wanting to put up a post is like, hey, have you ever seen my show? Give me 3 things that you like about it, 3 things that could be improved. I don't know who would fill it out though, because it feels like work and like homework, so maybe no one. All right, let's go. Let me check this. What's that?
Much love you. Good luck to the winner.
Oh yeah.
Peace out, Kim.
Peace,
out,
Ed.
Jessica.
Thank you again.
Much
So
love. I'll see y'all next week.
Hold on. Tell people where to find you. So throw some promotion out there, man. You're being more serious about it. Let's do it. Let's
I'll
make
be
it
on
real.
Rumble at Nebulous 420. Start following Nebulous 420 on Rumble. I'll be
420,
here.
okay.
Do the Wake and Bakes. Do the Roast Clip Sundays. Just
Okay.
be myself and have a good time. Play some music. Smoke some weed. Grow some weed. You'll see me grow it too as
Let's
well.
go. Let's
And
go.
check me out on Facebook.
Yep.
Nebulous Monk. All right.
Nebulous Monk. Okay, bro. Thanks.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Neb.
Good night, Kim. Stop being so tight.
I try
I am
to
who I am.
I try to get her to relax sometimes, but I also wind her up too. You know what I mean? It's like,
I'm gonna
All right.
wind you up.
oh,
How do I get out of here now?
don't hit end stream. Hit anything else but end stream because that's gonna end our stream. Huh? Yeah,
Can you
I'll
kick
just
me?
kick you out. Yeah, I got you. Kick. Got it. Good. I'm glad I said that because he was probably almost anyone will see it. It's a big red button, end stream. Oh, wow.
It doesn't
wait,
say stream. It says leave
Oh,
stream.
that's right, because I didn't make you guys moderators yet. That's why. Okay. Here's another $1 for you. Oh, thanks, Margaret. Thank you. I wasn't bitching about the dollar. I was actually happy about that. Like I wasn't making $1 on the stream before this. We're coming up on 3 years, and I'm happy to swing in that direction. JB, is JB here? JB, are you here? JB is here. JB, congrats on another ticket.
Thank you. So funny.
You've been quiet this whole time, girl.
Yeah. My
I'm surprised
dogs
you-
have been acting up the whole time, so I
Oh.
stayed on mute.
Oh.
But
Well, I'm surprised you came up. I know this is
politics are not my thing. Debating is not my thing. So
this is a
But I
more
came.
contentious episode. Yeah, this is.
Mhm.
But you know what though? I like when we do the current events episode because it's important for us to kind of take a peek at what's going on out there. Like we didn't really cover that much specifics, but we just have a kind of open conversation about what's happening in the world. But I don't try to bog down on like news, but some big things going on right now, and I think so for the first year or two when we started the show, I had lots of topics, and the topics are a little bit more difficult to come up with now, but I decided for a while back that we would do one People in Boxes episode per month, the third weekend of the month for whatever reason, and we'll just check out what's going on in the current events world, and so it is a little bit crazy one, but they can't all be as exciting as talking about parks like we did the other day. The other week. Like that one was it was a little more boring episode, but we sometimes those are fun because we've talked about some crazy interesting things. Like we talked about bubble gum, we've talked about shoes, hair, we've talked about camping, we talked about like just some like random fun stuff, and so we get into that too. But I know that I know that we can handle the serious stuff sometimes, and I think we need it. That's kind of hell. I remember we had one episode about like postpartum depression early on in the show, and there was like tears. We had people waiting in line to come up and talk. Like it was crazy. I'd like to get back to that. We kind of had a line waiting tonight, but people were being too courteous. They were like, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. Hey man, make a line. We'll work you guys in. I want to hear from you. Elisa May, definitely always welcome on. She said, yeah, we weren't able to watch the riots live. I don't even think I would have thought they were real. Oh yeah. Bean Dongo, shouts out to Bean. I got on his live a few nights ago, and we were just watching the riot footage, and there was some weird stuff happening. Like it was daytime, so you weren't seeing the rioters like attack anything. So at nighttime, I guess obviously you'll see more like people doing violence and stuff. So it's just this weird like line of police like clearing streets trying to get the curfew. What's that, Kim?
The freaks come out at night.
I think she got froze up. Her mouth is frozen.
Come out at night.
Well, JB, let me get your ticket on here. I don't want to forget. Got a lot of people with a lot of tickets. You got quite a few already. Holy shit! You got 7. Got 7 already. You almost could get a hat, an indoor farmer hat. You don't wear hats, though, do you?
No.
Brenda V won the number wheel. Okay, she's got 13 tickets. But also remember, Jeff, those you can use those as game night tickets too. So if you can't be here during game night, you can use those so that it saves a spot. Or you can be like Justin James Calderwood, who uses them anyway, even though he's here, so he gets 2 spots in the game. He ends up winning it back all the time. He's pretty smart doing that. Although he's not saving them up like that. So, Are you there, Kim? Okay, yeah, you were frozen for a minute.
Dude, there's this. I'm on Twitter. Something just caught and it's Elon Musk shared what looks like a lab report for like drugs. Excuse me. He's got.
Bless you.
Thank you. It lists benzophenone, whatever, benzodiazepines, amphetamines, ecstasy, barbiturates, everything like cocaine, all the way, all kinds of stuff. There's probably about 20 things here, and it's a blood test, and all of them are negative. Why would he post that? Is somebody accusing him of being on drugs, or?
I'm sure they are.
Why would he?
Yeah, there was actually an incident where he was acting almost belligerent at the White House with Trump, and it was on video. And so people were saying he was on drugs. Yeah.
Got to refresh one more time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was out of it though. I saw the video. He looked half out of his mind. So it's hard telling what was going on though. And anymore you can't tell what's AI and what's not, but apparently it was real.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know he was pretty pissed, so maybe that's what it was, is he was just livid.
Look at this.
It was right after his black eye incident. I think he still had the black eye.
How did he get a black eye?
Supposedly his kid gave it to him.
Oh.
But people are debating it.
We talked about that. I think was it last week, or I talked about it somewhere, where like there's this. Oh yeah, on Fire in the Hole, I think. This whole like conspiracy theory about celebrities and people of power in this club of like some sort of sexual deviant club where they, whatever it is they do, but they call it the Black Eye Club. I don't know if it's like molestation or some kind of power club, and you can see all these celebrities with the black eyes, and so I can even pull that up. But I was going to pull up what you were talking about, Elon. The Black Eye Club.
Yeah, he was sitting next to President Trump
Here
over
it is.
at the Oval Office. And he was all eyes. He looked like he was nodding out and looked like he was all over the place. It was real strange.
Oh, brother, I think that's dumb. I think I don't know. Conspiracy theories are dumb.
Well, conspiracies are real, though, and a lot of these conspiracy theories are proven to be real or turned into fact 10 years later. So I don't think they're dumb.
That's what's crazy about some of it, yeah.
And it's not that there aren't a bunch of fake ones. It's that keeping an eye, like just I'm not saying believe anything. I'm just saying I don't believe this necessarily. I think there's a lot of reasons why someone will have a black eye, and then if you're a celebrity, you're most likely going to get a picture taken with it. So it's much easier to say, like, show a reel of pictures of celebrities with black eyes than it would be of like regular people. Like, oh look, that person's in the Black Eye Club.
It goes deep
You know?
into like one eye symbolism or something along those lines, something with the elites, and it runs deep, and that's where it comes from.
Well, that one eye thing is associated with, oh my God, what is that? The Masons or
This here, although not
I know what
officially
you're
an
talking about.
organization, refers to a growing number of
Illuminati?
politicians, yes, celebrities, business elites, and heads of state who have suddenly and mysteriously wound up with a black eye. Suddenly and mysteriously, it's like those words right there are already trying to lend you to like make you think, oh, spooky. What do you mean? Most people, I don't know anyone who plans to get a black eye.
yeah.
Suddenly and mysteriously. Like,
I
oh,
fell in
wow.
the damn bathtub.
That's mysterious. Well, maybe not. It could be. It could sound mysterious. See, some of them are on different sides, but they mostly say it's supposed to be on the left side. And that one's on the right side. Like, they're all on different sides. So I can't say I have ever been punched in the eye my entire life. Oh, whatever. I had a black eye one time. And these are the 1%, just what an ultra rich folk doing, getting their. Maybe it's a fight club. Maybe it's a rich guy fight club. Rich person, you know.
So all these theories
Roseanne
going
talked about
around.
it. Say again.
There's all these theories going around. It's hard telling.
Black Eye
I like
Club.
that rich guy fight club. That's funny to think about.
They're like, hey, we got nothing else, you know. So it's not just people with black eyes. It's like the celebrities who like cover their eye in a picture or something to that effect, like she did. Roseanne Barr discusses the Black Eye Club and celebrities that cover one eye. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't like stuff like that. That's freaky.
It's freaky, but it's like, is it that far off to think that they have a special club? No, but I don't think they would need to make you have a black eye in order to join it. Like, that just seems very far-fetched to me, just saying. Far-fetched.
Maybe it's like an initiation for fraternity or something.
Not that far-fetched,
People
Lisa.
are too.
I mean, don't you think it'd be like something else, like a special ring or maybe like a tattoo or, you know, because a black eye is not very permanent. So what, like, oh, you'll have lots of pictures taken of you and then that'll be permanent on the internet. I don't know. That seems like not very sophisticated.
Ludicrous.
That doesn't seem very sophisticated. I think that would be like a tattoo for sure, like one of these like invisible tattoos that you'd have to put a special light over to see.
Some
Decoder ring.
decoder ring.
Yes, decoder ring. That's what's done in gangs. What, like a beating? Yeah, beat down. Eye of Horus. Oh, Eye of Horus. I want in this rich guy fight club, Chris. Most of these people haven't gotten in real fights. Yeah, maybe they fight each other. Like, and that's why it's just barely. They don't get very hurt. Just a black eye they get is it. I don't know. But there's a ton of them, and I think like the whole Epstein thing, that's probably just one. That was probably one little resort. There's probably dozens of places like that.
Oh yeah.
And we think, oh, Epstein Island, right? Well, they want us digging into it probably so we don't find all the other ones.
Dude, there was one here in New Mexico, up in northern New Mexico. On a ranch.
Nickelodeon.
Yes, that's what it is, Chris. They have a tramp stamp. They have a special tramp stamp where to show that they're in the club, or whatever happened to the good old like moose hat? It would be like up here, big old.
The Grand Poobah hat.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the pointy hats, but we are from. I do have a town nearby called Pekin, and it is where the I believe it was the KKK like headquarters for some time.
What was that guy that
maybe it's where it began or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember the real. What guy? We had a white supremacist church leader called Matt Hale, and I used to deliver his paper as a kid, or his dad's paper. But Matt Hale had the Church of the Creator, and it was basically a white supremacist church. And his dad lived in my town when I was a kid, and I delivered his paper. One time I saw him getting
guy that was the leader of the KKK. I want to say he was from Illinois.
Probably from Pekin.
I don't know. I can't remember what his name was.
Yeah, probably from Pekin. I got one, Elisa said. What, a black eye? A tramp stamp? Oh, okay. With that being said, I'm going to do a dab. I'm going to hang out for a little. I mean, we still got 21 people chilling. There's probably more things we could find out there, but Kim, you're welcome to go anytime. Although you are on your summer vacation, what do you got going on tomorrow? Any plans? I have a whole list of things that I need to get done, and I've been making my list has been getting longer, not shorter.
David Duke is his name.
David Duke, yes, David Duke, that guy that I believe Obama, or not Obama, but Biden worked with him for a time. Or no, it was somebody else from the KKK that Biden like went across the aisle to work with a while back or whatever. I'd have to look up the story, but it was somebody from the KKK.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I am not really on vacation.
What do you mean?
This class that I'm taking.
I guess you're right. I didn't think about it.
I've had a student in my house teaching every day.
A student?
Yeah, so I have a student that I'm teaching every day for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I sit through lecture the rest of the day and I have homework. It's a lot. I'm telling you, it's hard. I was telling you it's hard.
You're right. I forgot that you were doing that. I thought that I thought you were like taking a course.
Mm-mm.
You're teaching someone. Okay. I thought you were just going to take a class,
Well, it is a class, but it's like, they teach us they're teaching us stuff. So we take like how to teach and then we have to replicate it. So it's a lot. It's very, very involved. It's a lot. It's hard.
Does the student is getting a legit class though? Like it's what do they get?
No, not really.
How are they funneled to you though? Like where's the student come from?
We find them. We find our students. We pick them, and we can't pick anybody that actually has dyslexia.
Oh.
Because you'll really screw somebody up if you don't know what you're doing. So ethically, you don't want to pick somebody that's got a learning disability.
Okay, so
but I have a student in my house every morning, and I'm teaching them what I learned the day before. Aw, hey doggy.
Hi puppy. I forgot your name, pup.
Pongo.
Pongo.
Yeah, I went to check on Grandma. Sorry.
It's funny, the dog gets up there just perfectly and right at perfect, like he's in the shot. He's better than Kim at squaring up in the shot, just getting right in there, straightened out. His eyes are turned blue. They don't turn red like most do. Like in the light from the camera, they turned blue. That was
Really?
crazy.
You need potty? There-
Sounds
Yeah.
like you're getting popular.
I got mine over here just passed out. No, now he's awake. Are you awake, little Sprouty? He's been keeping me running, you guys. I gotta get my fence fixed up. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a bubble run with Miss JB. Gonna try your first bubble run and my second. What I want to do is I'm gonna run some alcohol through the machine. Also try to clean the bags a little bit, and then do it.
It's 91 degrees outside my door right now. Still.
I hear like somebody has. It sounds like crickets or something. Is that just regular background fuzz or somebody near outside windows?
Not me.
Okay, just
Might be the
fuzz.
fan I have behind me.
It's all good. It's all good. It's gonna take it took like 4 hours last time I did it. So just to forewarn you,
To do what?
running the bubble hash.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not a fast process, but it is a lot faster than growing the bud, than chopping it, trimming it, drying it, and then trimming it some more, and then curing it, and all this stuff, like all those steps that you can cut out just by cutting it right when you cut it. I chopped it as small as I could, put it into bags, froze it. It's been frozen ever since, and we'll just turn it into hash.
Gonna hash it.
Good. I mean, it's good to turn into rosin like that too. That's what I'm going to do. But first, let me tell you about Truth Social. I do have it. I don't use it a whole lot. I will say that it is definitely it's on the right side of things, right leaning. If you're somebody who maybe hates Donald Trump, maybe you want to join it in order to follow what he says over there. You want to catch his latest communications directly from the horse's mouth. If you're looking for a great place online for news, discussion, and entertainment, and check out Truth Social, Donald Trump's social media website. You'll get breaking news, stories, and commentary from top media figures. If you want Trump to see, if you want to see Trump's legendary Truth Social posts, then get on Truth Social today. Join a growing community of patriots on a free speech platform designed to avoid censorship and cancellation by big tech. Make your voice heard. Join the movement. Join Truth Social. I will say that if you go on there with causing a whole bunch of ideas that are, we'll say, not exactly in the mainstream on that site, I've heard of people getting banned over there. So if you go to one side, you can say just that stuff. Go to the other side, you can just say that stuff, and you'll be safe, I guess. But if you go to Rumble, you can say both. So come on over to Rumble. Hey, that was cool. 3 ads in one show. Let's go. I think people like us to stay at nighttime on People in the Boxes. That's what's up. I like to keep at least one show at night for that adult feel, late night comedy,
Especially for Kim and her F-bombs.
Right? Kim and the F-bombs. Kim, so you do that class during the day?
Yeah. From about 8:15 till, I don't know, it varies in the afternoon as to what time, but we're usually done by 3:30.
So today I looked at kayaks. I know I know jumping subjects here, but I just remember what I did today. And I was looking at kayaks. They're like $200, which is a super cheap one. And I don't know how I could transport it yet on my car, so I'm going to have to figure something out. I think we talked about it, JB. How are you? Do you have one?
No, I don't have one.
Are you?
I know he poked at me again today about it. I hadn't planned to go because I don't have a kayak, but now I feel bad for not getting a kayak and going. So
Just get a inner tube, and you can attach it to my kayak, and I'll do the rowing. And I'm gonna get a few other
that's a
friends,
scary thought.
and we're gonna have I'm gonna have a train. I'm gonna run a
I'll get
train.
video.
Yes, I'm gonna run a train. You get the video from
I'll be
behind.
drowning.
When we get through like the rapids area where you're getting flipped from the. There's a few points in the river usually where it gets a little hairy. Not too bad. I've been whitewater rafting before, and this is
I was
nothing.
wondering how the conditions were, like how bad it got.
It
I'm
depends on
definitely
the
going in
year.
shoes. Like I know that.
In what? In
Shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wear water shoes or like surfer shoes or something like that. I have those. They get full of sand, but it is what it is. You can wash them. I've been twice, and now I feel like I'm an expert. But the first time, the water level was kind of low, so you run into a few points where you had to get out and drag your kayak or whatever across like a sand area.
That's what
or like
Sarah
a-
was saying. He
Yeah.
was saying he hoped there was enough water.
That's the thing. If it's deep though, then you're going to run into points where you're going to run into more points where it's a little more rapidy and it kind of heavy flow going on. You know what I mean? Chris, come on up, man. Let's have a dab. We're in the we're in the after show now at this point. Yeah, a lot going on. No, we didn't even talk about the big beautiful bill. Like I don't believe for a second that it's all good in that bill. You know.
Well,
I
Elon
believe-
Musk wouldn't be flipping out if it was all good.
Oh, come on. People. Okay, so the assumption is, at least the opposition to that is that he is mad about the reduction in the money going to the EVs and all the his subsidized companies, which I was already against for a long time. Where Elon Musk basically made it big by having businesses that were being subsidized by the government. You know. Like I mean, like that's just something that's true. He got his Tesla is or was subsidized by the government, and so I could totally see him being upset about that. But also, like Elon Musk is like the most recent person to join the team, the most recent convert from Democrat to whatever they are, MAGA, and a lot of people don't necessarily agree with his point of view. I think it's an ego thing between the two of them. I heard that they made up already, actually, but I don't know if that's true or not. But I just point out, like, Elon Musk has very, very different views than a lot of the other people on the right. I mean, he thinks that, he like just in one thing, climate change alone, he's very opposite side of things. So like, there's probably a ton of views that he has that. So why would he come out, and if he was worried about that, then why would he come out low blow trying to say Trump was basically pointing out evidence we already knew about Trump, that he was on the flight logs, but not for the island itself. We don't know this yet for sure. But then Elon came out basically saying exactly that what we already knew, which is, I think, silly, because he comes out trying to like throw a low blow when supposedly he had real information about the spending bill being bad. Like, why didn't he give us that? You know what I mean, Kim? Like, where's that information?
I don't know.
Why didn't he tell us what was so bad about it? Like, there's probably tons of pork. I can probably imagine tons of bad things in it.
I think that he was upset. I don't know. I didn't really like pay that close of attention to all of that. I just like heard the big things. So, but from what I understand, he was upset because it would, his whole thing with cutting government spending was to save the government because we're spending more. And, and there's like, I get that logic behind a lot of that. I don't agree with the way that things were done, but I agree that our government's too big and a lot of stuff needs to be cut. And I'd like to see us go back to a more balanced budget, kind of a thing that we had. Like, I think the last time we had a balanced budget was Clinton had a balanced budget. I want to say it was like around that time, maybe the Bush years until we got into war. I don't know. But from what I understand, he was upset because it would have exponentially added to our deficit. And I think that that's where his big concerns lay. People can pass it off that, he's upset because it, fucks up subsidies and stuff like that. And I'm sure that that probably factored into it as
So why
well.
bring Epstein into it though? That was just a kid childish thing for like. So you're bringing like sense.
Well, I'd have to go back and I'd have to look at all the conversations that we're having around that, because a lot of the times people play sound bites or things appear in the
It
media.
was his posts, him
His
posting
singularity.
about it.
Yeah, but I guarantee you there was a reason why he did. He was probably responding. It's just like that post I just saw of his drug test. I was like, what the fuck is that about? And that's a random thing because I don't really often pay attention to Twitter. Something else caught my attention on Twitter. I got a notification and then I kind of accidentally scrolled and I saw that and I was like, what the hell is that? So, we see these things, and I guarantee you that things don't happen out of singularity, that there's probably a whole conversation around that, and you just caught that one bite. Who knows what that was? It could have been in response to something else. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And I don't care because I know Trump's dirty. I know he was fucking little girls on that island. He was probably fucking those girls in New York, and
There's no proof of any of that.
there was one of the little girls took him to court. She couldn't get anywhere because I think of the statute of limitations. But yeah, he did. I believe it. I believe that he did. He's a dirty dude. You don't know this guy. You don't know his history. That stuff he's well known for that shit. And just because you haven't heard it or you haven't dug it out, I don't care. Go dig it out.
Whoa! Don't pretend that I didn't know Trump before this either. Like I made the same mistake with you earlier. Like I saw The Apprentice. I saw Trump, being so popular in the '80s, and I've seen a lot of that. So I get it. I get that you're giving me a lot of opinion, though. Really, I mean, honestly, I don't like a lot of people that he's been around too. He's best friends with Clinton's for years.
He's buddy with a lot of people.
Look at all the people connected to Diddy now. Like we're finding out there's nobody's like. We're talking about decorum earlier. Like what's decorum matter when you're in a child sex ring, like from like in Hollywood or whatever, It's okay as long as they put a good face on in public, right?
Yeah, the
No,
cloak of
it's not.
respectability. I don't know. It just disgusts me. Like Clinton disgusted me. He was a dirty pig too.
Yeah, he's still out there kicking, out there.
And like
Sorry, Chris, I accepted you.
Georgie Porgy, Baby Bush. Like there were things that I didn't like about him, but you have to remember that New Mexico is right next to Texas, and my news that I watch comes from Texas. Because I'm down here, I'm like 30 minutes from El Paso, and the closest news affiliate that we have in New Mexico is out of Albuquerque. So we get our news and everything out of El Paso. So we see all of Texas news. So I saw him as a governor of Texas and knew things about him before he became governor. So I knew all of his dirty laundry. And there were things that I didn't like about him, but the guy was an alcoholic. He had a problem with alcohol, but I don't know. There was things that I
kind of dumb. It was literally oligarchic.
Where he got.
What's the term? Like where it was just like passed down through the family, like because it was a family business, basically. Dad, his brother, they're all politicians. Like there's a bunch of families like that where there are these sort of lords and ladies families out there, which are like
aristocracy.
Political. Yeah, like you'll see Chelsea Clinton become a politician eventually, and
No, I don't
aristocracy.
know that
That's it.
we'll ever see her become a politician. I don't know that she's got the.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight there to carry up for both mom and dad. Holy
Well,
shit.
it's not even that. It's her personality. I could see her be doing things behind the scenes, kind of a thing. But to be a politician, I don't know. I don't know that that's in her personality to do something like that. But
I don't know.
I
I
don't
just
know.
think that I hope that I have hopes for a lot of the technology coming out. I hope we can help people. I hope that like people like look at JB home health care. I could see some major breakthroughs coming for that in the or coming in that realm in the near future with robotics and things like that. It might be scary, but with AI and robotics, like there might be real things that we can do to help people more at home.
I think that AI has some really, really good applications in a lot of things. You know,
Potential for sure.
like we were
Potential.
talking a couple of weeks ago about, teaching, and how AI will probably has the potential to get rid of teachers essentially. And I think there are certain aspects of AI that would be really good in the for teaching. So like for teaching reading, because reading, not every teacher is good at teaching as good at teaching. When you look at high school English language arts teachers, they're either really good at teaching literature or they're really good at writing, but they're not good at both.
Specialized, right?
Yeah, and so, and reading is one of those things that they don't teach reading after third grade. In fact, I think second grade is the last year you get reading instruction. After that, if you haven't mastered the ability to read, then you're put in intervention classes. And the intervention classes for reading end by the time you hit eighth grade. After eighth grade, there is no more reading intervention. So I think AI would be really, really good for teaching reading, because to learn reading, it has to be exact and it has to be sequential and it has to be structured. And if you have teachers that are not good at that, which a lot of teachers are not good at that because it's boring as hell to teach that way. I think AI has really good implications for maybe taking over being a reading teacher, or teaching those aspects of reading. And maybe with math, I don't know. I'm not a math person, and I don't teach math, so I don't know about the implications for math, but definitely for reading, I can see that.
I could see it for. We talked about this too. Being able to hyper focus on each student and say, "Oh, this student, learns 35% better if they get to stand up while they're reading," or whatever it is. Like they can really hyper focus, and like that I could see like bad things happening because of that, sort of like focusing and like almost manipulating a child on like what they end up being good at. But I want to see it be able to tell us like how that child could learn the best, and how like what parts of I don't know, different subjects that child is going to be the best at and stuff like that. Just interesting.
Well, then that gets into tracking. You have to be really careful, because tracking was something that they tried to eradicate back in God, I don't know when it was. Might have been the 80s. I don't know.
Tracking?
But yeah, tracking is where they would like a lot of it was racially tracking kids, but it was taking what they were good at and like funneling it towards things instead of developing the whole child and letting them determine, or the family determine the kid's future. Tracking is what China does. China does that. I don't know about Russia. Russia used to do it, but China definitely still does that. They they have some of the best gymnasts in the world in certain areas, especially. And those kids are identified at a very, very young age. I don't know what the criteria is for it. I imagine it just depends on whatever sport, there's,
They got CRISPRs now, Kim. They're fine tuning the genetics for kids to do whatever it is, a sport or chess, or
yeah.
you're gonna have
But I'm
designer
just
babies
saying,
soon. Designer babies.
well, I'm just saying that, that's what tracking was. And so they would track these kids into particular things, and this is what you're going to be when you grow up. And so they didn't have that free will. And a lot of it was racially
Oh, I see.
motivated.
Like on Futurama, where he's like told he's gonna be like, he's handed a job. Like they're like, okay, your job will from now on will be like delivery boy. Like the rest of his life, that's what he gets to be.
Yeah. Or it's kind of like, the ASVAB, when you take the ASVAB to go in the military,
Right. Yeah, that's a little bit weird too, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, well, what are you best suited for? I don't know. I probably take tests terribly. Like I was suited for not a whole lot of things.
Well, if you can't read, if you're like a special ed kid and you don't have very good reading or comprehension skills or whatever, you score low, and a lot of the times you're stuck in infantry. That's how they get a lot of infantrymen are the people that are the low scorers. They're funneled into the infantry.
Right, but there is a score. You can score too low for that even.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but I know that that's a thing.
And
That's
I don't mean developmentally disabled. I'm talking like regularly abled person with a low enough IQ will
yeah.
be turned away.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. If you have too low of an IQ.
If you can't pass the ASVAB.
Yeah.
Um,
But so that what you're proposing is a lot like tracking, and I'd hate to see that.
I
And in a lot
guess.
of ways, I kind of feel like we kind of are tracking our high school students, because there's this really big push to get kids into career pathways. And so the way that works is you get into high school and you say, okay, well, I want to be, I'm interested in being an engineer. And so for the rest of your high school career, your electives are all, majority of your
Funneled.
funneled
Yeah.
into like an engineering kind of a thing or whatever.
Yeah, and then you end up with all this sunken cost fallacy. Well, I spent all this time doing it. I need to keep doing it because that's the only thing I can fall back on.
Yeah.
I think kids all the way up through high school should be trying different things, like learn, like see what you like,
I think
or
they need to
do things
bring,
more general. Go ahead.
I think they need to bring back more hands-on kind of learning, like shop and, some of the stuff that automotive classes and stuff like that, because those are where you learn that's where you learn problem solving skills. That's where you learn your critical thinking. It's harder to teach critical thinking in a theoretical uh, setting, and a lot of teachers are not good at teaching critical thinking.
Well, yeah, they don't. That's not even on the agenda half the time.
Yeah. And a lot
It's
of
just
the time
retention.
and a lot of the times teachers are struggling just to teach the standards, let alone adding any other elements into what they're doing with their students. And and it's really hard to teach critical thinking to kids that haven't really had any life experience, because critical thinking comes from having life experience. I mean, if you fucking go out and stick your tongue into a electrical socket, that gives you the experience that you don't want to ever have again. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll take it one further and say critical thinking it has a risk element, and that is why it's cut out of schools a lot of times, because the back and forth that we had with people who are lawsuit crazy. I remember in like the 90s, it was just lawsuit for everything. It was like this trope in movies and stuff, and the issue with that is that you have people like doctors and teachers being more and more and more cautious with the patients and the kids, and like police being cautious, first responders being cautious. Oh, you can't save someone if you're a doctor if you've had a drink or two or something like that. Otherwise, you can get like your license taken away. So sorry, you're gonna have to die. But like there's a lot of examples of this where, like for instance, they can't take kids out and do as many field trips because what if the kids get hurt and then you get sued and then you have all this problem. And so I think that is where you're missing the critical thinking, because they could take the kids out into sort of field exercises and be like, okay, this whatever it is, like get me samples in this pond, or like do some things, I don't know, science stuff outside. They could do some. I'm sure some schools do some of that stuff, but they've largely cut a lot of it out. I had a grade school where we had a garden. I think there were some schools doing that, which is the beauty of charter schools and some private schools being able to do with their own thing.
Well, you could do that as a teacher if you wanted to. It's hard to do that because, you have to have, if you're going to have a garden, you've got to have a space to grow. You've got to have the materials, and the teacher has to want to do that kind of stuff. The teacher has to have knowledge and experience to be able to do that kind of stuff as well. And you don't always have teachers that are into stuff. Like one of my assistant principals was a science teacher. He had been a science teacher. And when I had my hip surgery, I was trying to show him the pictures from the where they did the arthroscopic surgery, and he's like, oh gross, I don't want to see that. And I'm like, and you were a science teacher? Like, it was just like, I would think if I was a science teacher I would be all over that shit, but he was like, oh no, nope, I'm good, I don't want to see that.
It's live though.
So you just have every teacher's different, and they're not all comfortable teaching in those kinds of methods. They'd prefer doing a lab or a traditional kind of a lab or whatever.
It's just like doctors and lawyers and policemen and everyone else, where not every teacher got an A+ in school.
Yeah.
Not every anyone came through their career and is at the top end of that career. Every profession has the range of the better people and the not so good people at the bottom. Like, think about your job, whatever your job is, and thinking about someone that that does your job who really sucks at it. So just second opinions. That's why I like school choice. I really think kids should. I think the money. Okay, the money should be divided up into whatever the amount is per state. Each state might be a little different depending on funding, and you divide it up per kid. And that money should just follow the kid. Like, it shouldn't. The kid doesn't get like a pile of money, but it follows them to whatever school they choose, and then that makes schools have to compete. Which I get it, Kim. That would probably not be so fun and be a little bit more stressful for schools to be like perform. Like almost like you're on commission for a sales job.
It would just cause the quality of your education in public schools to fall.
No, it would go up.
No, it wouldn't.
Go explain.
If the money's following the kids, so schools are allotted monies for things based on population. So if you have a school that is considered, like here we have...
That's why they overpopulate classrooms. Go ahead.
Well, and it's not just the overpopulated classroom, but it draws those resources away from the schools that are perceived as performing less than the other schools. And so you're going to find less money for technology and stuff.
That might be true, though.
Not as balanced.
Some schools need to fail because maybe they are failing and they just are being propped up by the system.
You know what? I don't think it's that they're failing. So we have four comprehensive high schools here. We have an alternative high school, and then we have the early college high school. And the early college high school is competitive. You have to be accepted into that. So it's kind of its own thing. And the alternative school is also kind of its own thing. So we have four comprehensive high schools here. And one of them, which is the newest school, was built with this fancy look, it's fancy looking, it's newer, whatever, is considered the good school. And everybody wants their kids to go there because it's the good school. And, really, when you compare scores, the scores are not that much higher at the good school than they are at the other schools.
Okay.
So, but it's a perception in people's minds
What's that have to do with school choice?
because that's how people decide where their kids are going to go to school is through that
The
perception.
school can only hold so many kids. Like, that has nothing to do with what the argument is. You're saying that the quality is going to go down somehow if the kids get to choose what school they go to. Now, not every school is going to be able to take you because there's not enough room. It's like college. College is that way now.
Are you
might
saying
not be
get
able to
rid of districts and just let kids go wherever they want to go?
No. What happens is
So,
it's called competition. It's called free market. So what happens is if a school is not teaching your kid the way that you want them to teach you, it doesn't even matter if it's quote good or bad. It might just be, I want my kid to learn those sodomy books that they were taken out of schools and then being accused
well, we
of.
kind of already have that. I don't know how other.
No, if you're stuck, but right now you're stuck in your district. So wherever I live, my kid has to go to that district.
No, that's
And
not
what-
true.
and
Not in my
I can't-
district. Not in my
Okay,
district.
maybe in my state, where I live. That's how it is.
Okay, well, we have
Uh,
here the ability for kids to transfer to do out of school district transfer.
But stay where they live, but live still in the same house.
So let's say they want to go to Centennial because that's the good school, right? But they don't live in that district. Okay. So what they do is they apply for a transfer to that school. Say they live in the Las Cruces
Well, that's
High
like
School.
school choice then. Basically,
Yeah,
the same
it is.
thing.
That's what I'm saying. We already have that. But
That's
the
good.
thing is that, you're not guaranteed a transfer because what's going to happen is all the kids that live in the district for Centennial, okay, are going to go to Centennial. And then whatever room is left over, as long as it doesn't overpopulate the school, then they'll accept a certain amount of transfers to the school.
Well, and if they're that good and more people want to go there, they'll end up with more funds to grow bigger and actually take more students eventually.
It doesn't work like that.
It could. You get more money, the more people, more
But
donations,
then
more.
you're going to have the other schools out of balance. That's where the out of balance comes in.
What's the
Because
balance
the
though? Like,
money- huh?
because they can't run on a smaller budget.
Because you're going to have all the poor kids over at Mayfield that can't afford because they live in a poorer section of town. So you're going to have a conglomeration of.
Wait, so
poor
you have to
kids.
pay to go to this other school?
No, you're going to have a conglomeration of poor kids stuck at Mayfield because they can't afford to get from Mayfield to across town
Just
in
travel?
Yeah.
You got a city bus, don't you?
Oh, it sucks. Our transportation, it takes 2 hours to get anywhere in town. I'm not kidding you. It's terrible. When I
Yeah,
first
I
moved
rode
back
the
there, I
bus.
didn't have a car and I had to take the bus. And oh my God, to get there, anywhere you go in Las Cruces is 6 miles. It took me 2 hours to go 6 miles. Our transportation here sucks.
JB, I want to make sure that you can jump in anytime if you want. If you ever had anything that you wanted to input on this, I know it's sometimes it doesn't seem like there's room to jump in, but go
Yeah,
ahead, Kim.
I'm more of a go with the flow, and you guys are
That's okay.
more talkers than me, so it's
I just
all right.
have to say it. I want to make sure that it's said. I should have said it right earlier, but
But that's what ends up happening is like all the and all the kids that their parents care. Well, I shouldn't say that they care.
so hold on. So the school that isn't considered the best school, you don't think that they would try to, at the very least, I'm not saying add a bunch of like amenities and stuff, but at the very least, weed out any problems within their own faculty that were not producing results. And I'm talking
It is
entrenched
predominantly,
teachers.
it is predominantly not the faculty that are the problem why kids are underperforming.
Well, whoever the problem is,
The problem lies
the
with
school board.
parents. No, the problem lies with parents who don't get their kids to school, kids that have chronic absenteeism, kids that come from very poor families. Socioeconomic factors are one of the biggest drivers of problems in testing and education.
I would have to throw in there air, water, food, forever chemicals, microplastics, like all of these things that we've talked about in other episodes. We can't rule that stuff out. All these kids and their parents, a lot of times we'll call it the general American diet, are living on toxins, and we expect them to perform well and be good parents or even good teachers, and we're over here dealing with glyphosate and
Oh, you
eating.
should see how these kids eat, dude. Like, I moved down to middle school, and like, I don't know, high school kids, I don't know, I didn't see it as much with my high school kids. They're more mature, so they're not really eating in class like these middle school kids. Like, middle school kids live off fucking Cheetos and Dr. Pepper. I'm not kidding you. It's disgusting, their diets are. And we have free lunches. Every kid in our district gets free lunch, but they won't eat the food because it's not junk food. They'd rather eat the junk food because the junk food is, I don't know, tastier or whatever.
It's addicting because of the sugars
That's
and
one
the
of the
salts.
things that I like about Kennedy. Like, there's a lot of things I do not like about him. There's a lot
I
of things
figured
I
that.
don't like
You
about
surprised
him.
me by saying that you like anything about him. Okay.
But I like that he is open to the junk food and like the stuff that's in our diet, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they've already made a lot of moves on the
And
dyes,
yeah.
and they're
Well,
talking
and I
about trying to
think
figure
I
out.
heard something, and I wasn't paying close enough attention because it was this week, and my brain is so full. And in the mornings, like when I'm listening to this stuff, like I've got a billion things going on, so I can't listen with my whole brain. But they were talking about something about junk food and going after food companies because they are targeting kids.
Yes, and also, did you see where they are targeting the food stamps and SNAP benefits, where you aren't able to buy?
Yeah,
JB and I, we talked about this before, where like
I
how do
gotta use
you
my login.
regulate that? Because you know that there's going to be I don't know where they draw the line at what foods are good for you and bad for you to be able to give you the food stamps. Like, I understand that there's some obvious ones, right? But then once you start to get down to whittling down to splitting hairs, you're like, okay, no more Ritz crackers because look at it, look at the ingredients. Like, it's not good for you. Like, you'd end up down to almost nothing for SNAP
Well,
benefits.
I'm hoping that what it does is kind of what it's going to force people to do with dye, because one of the things that they were mentioning, I want to say it was this morning on TV, was that it was either today or yesterday, and they were talking about how Jello and Kool-Aid they were talking about Jello and Kool-Aid. I don't know, it's going to force, so what I think what they may be hoping, and what anybody that's cares about this is hoping, is that by making these changes, that it's going to make these companies change how the food that
Their
they make,
formula.
the food
Well,
they produce,
some of
and
them
make
are working on it.
healthier.
It's going to cost them more to change back to a like whole ingredient, like holistic way to do it than it is for like new companies to pop up.
Yeah.
I look for new companies to pop up with, like, there's already a lot of companies, like I show them off every Tuesday on the review show, where they are small businesses. They're doing things handmade with like whole ingredients and, much cleaner things. Like, I don't know. But the problem with that, though, you got to be careful with small businesses as well, because they are also getting their ingredients from some of the big businesses that we know of as being bad. So, like, you'll see some of these companies, some of these small businesses. No offense to you out there that have the freeze dryer, but they're taking candy, that we know of as toxic, and they're making and turning it into these new treats that are fluffy and they're freeze dried, and it's like, okay, but that's still Skittles,
Yeah.
like like I don't know. Or like there's a lot of small businesses that aren't necessarily healthy, but they are, doing their best to make a quality product, and it's like, okay, but
Well, it's just like I haven't had a McDonald's burger. I haven't had any food from McDonald's
my son keeps asking me for it.
in, God,
McDonald's,
probably more
why?
than 20 years. Because when I found out what their hamburger meat, how their hamburger meat was made, it grossed me out. And almost all fast food is, their meat is like that. And I know because like I have an ag background. My dad's family were ranchers, my mom's family were farmers. So I have an ag background in my history, but I also took ag classes in high school. So I know about meat production and stuff like that. And so when I saw what the hell, when I realized, when I found out how their meat is made and stuff, I was like, oh, that is gross. And I haven't touched it since. Like, and I don't understand. Like, I tell the kids, like, I show them how the meat is made, and they're like, I don't care, it still tastes good. And it's
Well,
like,
so what do you mean? What do you mean by how the meat's made? Because I've heard that there's like human in it, and there's other issues with what's in it. But what
well,
do
I
you
think
mean
they
by?
changed their formulation, but they used to make it out of pink slime.
Well, the pink slime is okay.
And
I'll
that
be
was where
devil's
they took
advocate
all
here.
the pieces parts,
Right,
and they
it's
would.
leftovers. Well, that's what hot dogs are. That's what bologna is. A lot of
Well,
people
that's
like
what
those
a lot
things.
of hamburger meat is like that too. And they reconstitute it. They take
Okay,
it and they bleach it out, and then they put dye back in it.
now that stuff sounds gross. Bleaching and things out for whatever
Yeah,
reason. I don't know
look
why
up
we like.
research about pink slime.
So okay, I'm hearing what you're
And
saying. Some of the process sounds terrible. What I would say though, off of the basis of just reusing all the leftovers, or finding some use of the leftovers, processing them some way to where they turn into patties. That part I don't see a problem with. But to what you said, like bleaching and all this other stuff, like I don't know. So I initially think, yeah, I don't necessarily want to eat like eyelids and lips and noses, but like
I'll
it's
call it
also
lips
like, do we
and
want to
butt.
waste it too?
I don't
Do we want
know.
to?
I don't know that I want to put it in the human diet. I don't know that there's any good nutritional value out of that.
It should definitely go to animals. I think we could definitely use it for
Yeah,
animal feed,
I could
but
see using it like in dog food, maybe. I don't know. Even with dog food, like I don't know about that because like I cook my pet's own food. Like I have a recipe. I use chicken thighs and I bake it, and I you know bake carrots, and what else do I put in there? Carrots and peas and butternut squash. And so I make my own. I make my own pet food. After I went through what I went through with my cat that passed away in December, and when I found out all the stuff that's in the cat food and dog food and stuff, and I wasn't feeding Hill's Science Diet, but I was feeding some of the higher end cat foods and stuff, canned cat foods.
oh yeah, go ahead.
And so, it just has a lot of preservatives and stuff that are hard on their kidneys. And I was trying to preserve my cat because I love that cat. I mean, she
I don't
was,
like the question mark stuff on it. It's like crude this,
yeah,
crude that. Like,
like what the hell exactly is that? So that's where it started. Was I started cooking for her, and then I was like, why am I not taking care of all of my animals like this? It's about the same amount of money to make my cats, make their food as it is to buy it.
Well, and
So
it's the
why
same
don't I just
argument for
make it?
people. It's the same argument for people where do you want to buy the cheap food because it's cheap, but then pay a lot more in medical bills and shorten your lifespan, or do you pay a little bit more in the food that's good and more nutritious, and then actually save a lot of money and live longer? I think we look at the here and now, or like the right in front of you. That's why a lot of scams are done successfully, because people will take that quick money they think is going to be quick, like pool sharks and people who think that make they make you think. I used to be a wrestler, okay, in high school and in junior high, and and there would be this guy, like he'd always he'd always stick his leg way out there. You can't see my leg, but my leg is out. He'd have his leg out there because he's baiting you. He's baiting you to, wow, I'm coming in for that leg. Whoa, as soon as you come in for that leg, he'd have two hooks, two arm hooks, one on each side, and just play you like a fiddle. And so, like,
Yeah.
it's similar, the people that think that the easy dollar or the easy buck is the way to go, and then they end up getting screwed. It's just it's like human nature almost.
Yeah. Well, it's
Delayed
just people.
gratification is so hard for people.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that, people are so undereducated that they don't make good choices, and they're not disciplined. They're just not disciplined. There's a lack of discipline along with all of that as well.
Well, I'll be the first to say I definitely have my own discipline problems. I battle with depression, anxiety every day, where I feel like, well, what's the point of me doing anything right now? And then I think, well, I have this whole list of things I can do and I need to get done. Well, and then I'm like, well, a nap sounds really good though. I'm like, fuck, where'd the last 2 hours go? I'm like, but I tell you what, I've been working out. It's feeling better, feeling good. Doing sit-ups. I swear I did sit-ups today, and my back didn't click at all. Typically, when I do a sit-up, my lower back clicks every time I click, And so I've been doing 20 sit-ups for like a sets of 20. Sitting there watching TV in the living room while doing sit-ups, that's the way to go. Find something to distract yourself. Play something on your phone or watch something on TV and just do some reps. Been doing some squats and sit-ups. You can do squats while walking around your house. You do the squats where, I don't know what you call them, but like where you put one foot in front of the other foot, until you like
That's
down
lunges.
to one knee.
Those are lunges, walking lunges.
Yeah, but like you're basically squatting and lunging, and while you're
Yeah,
walking around.
but they're called walking lunges when you do it like
Okay,
that.
well, touche.
Because the
Lunges.
squat is where you have both your feet together and you
Yeah.
squat down like you're gonna.
Well, I do them both. I'll stand there on my pad, and I'll do the lunges, and then do 10 squats, then vector lunges, and so I've been doing it. I don't really work up a sweat though. It's like I don't plan to try overdoing it. You know what I mean? And really, the best way to work up a sweat is like cardio. Like I can't do. It's going to take me a while to do enough sit-ups. I reach muscle failure before I reach sweat. Muscle on sit-ups. Like I can do like 40 sit-ups. That's nothing to shake a stick at. But that's not going to make me start sweating balls. And I can't do a whole lot of cardio. It's super hot right now. It's not as hot as it is where you are, Kim, but
Well, you have humidity where you live. We're
we get
dry.
this. Yeah. Have you been outside, JB? Like you've been working on the pond and stuff? It's super hot right now.
It's getting hot enough where I stay in more.
Mm-hmm.
Go out in pieces. Yeah. Go out early or in the evening more.
Elisa's going to do some sit-ups. Elisa, I do sit-ups, and I put my feet under the couch so that I have some weight on them, because I cannot do sit-ups without something on my feet. But then I have to be careful, because you got to be conscious not to use your legs too much, just to pull yourself up with your legs. It's hard to describe. So I'll be like, why are my legs burning? Oh, it's because I'm sitting here pulling up with my legs rather than my stomach. But then I'll sit back and I'll do like leg lifts, and then I'll raise both legs up at the same time over and over, and just little things like different things. Because if you do just the same type of sit up, you're only working like one part of your abs, and you have like, you got your obliques, you got your upper, lower.
You ought to do planks.
Well, I do the leg lifts, which is like, your.
You ought to do
I don't-
planks.
I don't have anything to plank on.
Just plank on the floor, dude. You know what a plank is?
Yeah, like that TikTok trend a while back where people were taking a picture of each other, or they're getting pictures taken random places all over the place, and they would just lay there
No.
flat.
No.
Planking. That's called planking.
Planking is like, when you're doing push-ups.
Okay, just sitting up there in the plank position.
Yeah, you're sitting there.
Yeah, I do those.
So you're holding yourself up by your hands, right? And your toes. That is a core workout from hell.
I do that, and I'll like rotate my shoulders, as I'm doing that. But I can't do that very long because my shoulder, I know I'm bitching out, but my shoulder definitely.
Well, you have to build up to it, and you better go get your shoulder looked at before you make it worse. Trust me.
Well, no, I have been. I've been pushing the VA, and I've seen a chiropractor. I've seen OT, occupational therapy, and I get a massage every other week.
If you have a torn rotator or something else in there, none of that's going to help.
They said I couldn't do this if I had a torn rotator cuff. It's like I have loss of mobility, but not enough for them to say that I have. Like they're saying like there's no way I could do this stuff. Like it hurts, but not.
That's bullshit. I had a torn rotator. I had a torn labrum. And I had a torn bicep, and I could still rotate all of that shit. That's bullshit. Who's telling you that? Is that a VA doctor?
So I have to push them, and I want them to do an MRI. But basically, my VA doctor, the same one that kept pushing, like first some ointment, then finally I kept pushing and pushing. Oh, finally, we'll send you to OT, and like little things over and over. I had to keep pushing for. Check this out. There's planking, Kim.
Oh, it's going to be something dumb.
You can't see it?
No.
I can't.
I can tell that you're giggling, so it's going to be something dumb.
I can't see it. I can't make it any bigger. You can't see that on your screen?
Uh-uh.
It's a GIF.
Oh.
Why can't? So can you see us? Can you see anything on your screen?
Yeah, I can see you guys, but whatever it is that you're trying to show me.
You'll have to refresh your screen, I guess.
Oh, now I see it.
Now you see it? You see this guy on the escalator?
Yeah.
That was the planking trend.
That's not going to be helpful for you, babe. But if you scroll down.
Hold on, is this going to find more? Oh, there's Patrick Swayze. These are people actually planking.
Yeah. And you don't necessarily have to hold yourself up by your hands. You can do a modified plank from your elbows. Lay your elbows and your forearm flat down, and you can plank that way. And you can also modify it by dropping your knees down.
Oh man, am I saying it wrong? Maybe what was the trend called? Does anyone know in the chat? Remember this? Where like this one, like this lady.
No, is there something that goes with it?
No, you just take a picture of yourself.
No, but is there any chatter with the picture that tells what she's doing?
She was the queen of the planking trend.
Oh.
Too.
Yeah, I remember when that was a trend. I think it was called planking.
Here's some. So this is two different combinations. So there's a trend where you take a picture with like a space like in your house, and you post it. You post with it. You say, "What would you put in this space?" And then there'll be people that will like see. They'll put clip art, or they'll impose things in there like, oh, I'd put a couch, or I'd put a whatever, like a rocket ship. And there's that trend. I've seen a few of them where it's like, what would you put in this space? Well, they put a planker in the space. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that was back
More
in the early
planking.
2000s, I think, wasn't it? When they were doing
Yeah,
that
it's been
stuff?
a while.
How the hell did they do that?
That's got to be a joke. Creating a trend doesn't happen in hours. We keep blanking. Oh, by the way, I heard. I forget where I was listening to it, but never tape someone to the wall. Like they can die that way.
Yeah,
I forget what the reason was. It had to do with not just suffocating, but like something about the gravity of you sitting like laying it on the wall like that for too long.
yeah, it probably caused you to hemorrhage, I would think.
I forgot what it was, but that sounds about right. There's there's a planker started this trend called planking. Very cool and original, never seen before. This was in February 2022. They just lay there like a fish. Look at this. There's a guy up on the counter between two sofas. Someone in the random grass. Incorrect. The trend planking was a lay on your stomach with hands to your sides in the most awkward of places. It started out fun and playful. Only a minority of plankers were attempting dangerous planks. Source: I fucking lived through it. Yeah, there were some people doing dangerous planks, like this one, laying face first on the bus. Oh, no, this is a stadium. In a stadium.
Ew, gross.
That'd be disgusting. Remember the planking trend? Here's a bunch of pictures of JD Vance planking. They've been doing a lot of. You got to admit, he's got a good sense of humor because a lot of people have been putting him in hilarious like AI pictures and a bunch of different memes they made of him. But this JD planking on. He's a super JD planking on the roof of the car. It's all AI stuff. Here you go. He's one of those people did the planking trend back in 2011. Why is he always on the floor? There's one in the bowling alley. There's one on the top of Mickey D's.
Brother.
I don't think that's real, but maybe it is.
Yeah, I doubt that it is.
Here's one where, oh, this isn't planking. This is or maybe it is. But people would do this for like protests too, though. Bodies laying down for like against cigarettes or whatever.
Kind of
I
like
remember that happening. Yeah, I've seen that where they're representing all the deaths from that product or whatever. I've seen that happen. Here's more planking, random places. Oh wow, across two big rocks, top of a sign. Military planking. Dude on the mountain planking. Like, remember this was a thing. Like this this is like I mean, I bet you could do this today and make it funny.
Yeah, I remember when they were doing that stuff.
Top of a chair and then his buddy on top of him, or his brother or something. That's funny. All right. Well, guys, wow, we blew past 3 hours. I'm gonna get going, but it has been a fun night. Good show. Oh, well, my camera left already. Camera said, I'm out of here. I can't do this. I can't I can't do this anymore.
It said, "Fluck you."
It said, I'm out of here. It's the weekend. I'm off. Yeah, got to find something to do this weekend. I'm going to have to find somewhere to review. Take my son to this birthday party. And then we got our final. No, we still got two. We got two more rounds of police lineup. So come and play this Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time. If you're watching and you've been watching a while on the Rumble, please hit the follow button and make sure that you hit that like button if you could. JB, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. You're always welcome. And Kim, it's been a good fight. I mean, a conversation tonight.
Oh, look, you got my middle fingers excited.
Well, maybe stop in on the plant show on Monday and we can talk plants. Although you'll be busy teaching, I guess. Never mind.
No, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I'll be teaching. I have my final observation next week. We have a final exam, and I have this homework that I don't fucking know how to do it. Like, I'm stressed. Like, I'm not kidding you when I say I'm stressed. I've been stressed this whole week. Like, constipated from hell because, like, my body's just, like, clenched with tension.
I see.
Well, we have tomorrow off, thankfully, but so...
Well, good. Get some rest, and we'll see you all later. I'll probably do some random lives next couple of days, hang out on Locals at some point. But thanks again, guys. Go sign up at theindoorfarmer.locals.com to get in on game night and all the other fun stuff that we do and join the community. Peace out. Remember, everybody's got to eat, and we got to pay attention to what's happening in the world. Otherwise, that our food supply gets affected, right? We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Yeah, this is for my green thumbs in the game. Wayland the indoor farmer, check my name. Sustainability, we about to reclaim. This is how we do it, keep it in the frame. I'm Wayland the farmer, the indoor king. Living off the grid, what the city can't bring. Got my hydro setup, my LED lights. Growing all my greens, all through the night. Self-sustain, that's the mission. Growing my own, I'm not missing. Indoor farming, the hustle's real. Wayland's here, and he's